Good evening, everybody, and welcome to The Job, the show where we use quarantine as plausible deniability to obsess over reality television. So, who do we have in chat tonight? Jade Vasilev, Lady Baconator, Don Virus, and Jack Hermansson. Welcome, everybody. So, let's go immediately to the episode. This episode was all about Gigi and her struggle to win every single challenge in the season. Fantastic. This was an incredible start for what I think we can say was the best episode of the season. Am I right? Everybody agrees? Fantastic. So the episode opens and immediately we have an idea of who the show is really going to be about. So they show us a little bit of vulnerability for Gigi, which is interesting. But of course, you don't know which kind of price we're going to pay for that by the end of the episode.
Bitch, you're showing what you came to do, and the judges are loving it.
I have definitely gotten a wake-up call. We're just right back to 6 now. I mean, I know we're like, obviously I'm so happy that you're still here, and I was very sad to, have expected you to go. But as soon as she said you were safe, there was a moment in me where I was like, really?
Surprise, surprise. So, by the end of this episode, Heidi's going to go home. Jada's edit will be completely compromised. She has something like 12 or 13 shady noises placed strategically in very pivotal moments for her edit, which is fantastic. She has a ton of negative confessionals, and by the end of the episode, she will be in the bottom. Great. Who else is left against Gigi? I don't know. Maybe Crystal? Crystal with her one challenge after this episode? Well, you know how it is. It's a hero edit. What do you expect? Anyway. So, Rue comes in and she tells us that the mini challenge will be Everybody Loves Puppet, which is a fantastic challenge for this kind of cast. I must admit, I laughed out loud during the whole challenge. I couldn't contain myself. I almost peed myself a little because it was completely underwhelming. It was awful. Anyway, before we go to that, we finally found out what happened to the best mini challenge of the show, the most legendary mini challenge of the show, the library. One of our viewers left us a comment, Carlos Salasierra, telling us that the library this season was actually advertisement for FabFitFun. Great. Keep improving, World of Wonder. Keep improving, keeping us entertained with new sort of products that we might like. Why not? So, let's go to the mini challenge and find out some of Gigi's vulnerabilities for this episode.
Ladies, for today's mini challenge, we're gonna have ourselves a good old-fashioned bitch fest. And we're gonna do it with puppets.
Try really dialing it down on the 5 o'clock shadow, as you can see. I can see that. You've really tried to cover that up, haven't you? Yeah. All I want to do is sink further and further and further down. I'm keeping my puppet up high.
Oh yeah, that sucked hard. I'm almost surprised that they aired it. I don't know what went through their mind. I mean, when you have this kind of cast, you cannot have this sort of challenges. I mean, they were smart enough to take out the library and they kept the puppet, which is even harder. I mean, with the library, you can still get away with it by preparing something, you know that the kind of mini challenge is coming. You can prepare reads for everybody just immediately from the beginning of the season. It doesn't really matter. But with puppets, you don't really know who's going to come, and you have to entertain them for what, 1-2 minutes. You have to prepare at the moment. That's what's going to happen. This was an awful move, but I mean, we had advertisement, so what's the problem with it? So then Rue comes in and gives us the great news of the season, the topic for the Maxi Challenge.
For this week's Maxi Challenge, your charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent will be center stage as you create and perform your own one-woman, or should I say, one drag queen show.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Welcome to the 24th acting challenge of the season. Why so many acting challenges, you ask? That's a great question. That's a great question because it's easy to edit them out. You can show people whatever they want. Just add some fake laughs here, shady noises there, and everybody can be good and everybody can be bad. Because it looks like in their mind, we as an audience, we are not able to tell when somebody really sucks and when somebody really does a good job. So, of course, with this kind of cast, that at this point have queens who excels in giving out looks, in giving out runways, in giving out dance performances. This is the kind of cast that we have. What do we prepare for them? Acting challenges. Unscripted acting challenges. Because, you know, why should we bother to stay down and write something for the episode, right? So what's going to go for the next episode? Let's just have them do a stand-up. That will work great. This is the kind of effort that they are putting into creating this show. So listen, I understand the struggle. They have to prepare Drag Race UK. They had to prepare that thing called Celebrity Drag Race, which I don't know if somebody likes. I had to stop at half of the second episode. That's how interesting it was for me. And they had to film All Stars 5. Now, the point is, I understand the overload of work, but you have the money. They make millions with this show. Millions, tens of millions with this show. Hire more people. Just hire more people. Make them write something. I mean, you do not have the best queens during this kind of acting challenges. It's okay. Do something else. Do something that will put a shine on everybody, on every one of them. You could do that. No, instead we got an acting challenge, which was awful. I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad. I don't know if it's the nicotine withdrawal that is speaking, or maybe I'm just a sad person. But this, we'll see. We're going to get to it. So we are back in the workroom, and Jackie has to decide the order in which the queens will perform. So I want you to pay attention to this moment because there is something funny going on with it. So let's look first at the clip and then we will discuss it.
And does anyone feel comfortable closing the show? Because someone's got to. Jada, I know you didn't want to be last.
I mean, I don't care at this point. If it's gonna be funny, bitch, it's gonna be funny.
All right, Jada signed up for it.
Well, all right now.
Speak now, because I don't want people to come back and tell me things are shady later.
I'm okay with my spot.
I think this is good.
Okay.
So the point here is nobody wants to go last, okay? We are not shown the whole story. Keep that in mind. Write it on a post-it, put it somewhere, and keep that in mind, that we're not shown the whole story. So there are only two possible things that could have happened here. Either Jackie came out and said, Jada, you will go last. Or she asked, who would like to go last? Jada? And Jada might have said, okay, then I might go last. You know, somebody has to go, I might go, I think that happened. I think that is exactly what happened. But anyway, we have only these two possible outcomes. We are not shown none of those. Instead, we are left in this limbo in which we do not understand if Jada was forced to take the last position or she offered herself. We don't know. We don't know about that. But during the whole show, we are kind of dragged into the idea that they are having a fight about this. One says, I was put last. The other one said, well, I made sure that everybody had his own positions and they were okay with it and you didn't say anything. So this is your fault. This creates conflict, okay? And when you are part of a conflict, a petty conflict, no matter what really happened, it casts a shadow on the person. So this was specifically made, this omission was specifically made, in my opinion, to make Jada look bad. Because You have to understand, if they're showing Gigi being vulnerable during the episode, then the only other two possible contestants she's up against, they have to look bad. So if Heidi goes home, Jada has to look bad. And this is exactly part of this edit. And the fact that she completely bombed the main challenge didn't help. Well, but you know, everybody bombed the main challenge. It was not that difficult to bomb it. So we go to rehearsal. We have Whoopi Goldberg, which was completely underused, if you ask me. Nevertheless, we have some high points during this rehearsal. In the very beginning, we have Jackie. Okay, let's watch the clip about Jackie, then we talk about it.
I think I try so hard to be like who I think I have to be all the time.
And you don't.
And I'm thinking of everything you're saying. I'm thinking of all the things that my mom said to me growing up, which were the opposite things of what my dad said to me growing up.
You know, and at this point, I have to smash the pause button and take a second, okay? So if you follow the streams since the very beginning, you know exactly which kind of approach I have to Jackie. You know that I respect her, you know that I like her, you know that I have high expectations toward her, but this thing with her family and her mother, it's becoming annoying. It's every episode. Since episode 5, Jackie has been saddened about the fact that her mother was a bitch. Well, what can I tell you, Jackie? Welcome to the club. A lot of us as parents were complete bitches, but it's not like that's the topic of our lives. I understand that this is an unscripted show. This is reality TV. So she doesn't know what goes in the final edit, what doesn't go in the final edit. So she's just reiterating this thing with her mother every episode. But when it comes in the final edit, and this, mind you, this did not happen by chance, okay? Every single episode, and we see this, I arrive at episode 11 thinking, listen, I respect it, but I'm tired of it. Shut the fuck up. I got it 5 episodes ago. Please. And the problem is that, in a way, I have the feeling that she has, and this is just my feeling. Let's make this clear, okay? I have this impression that it's like somebody told her, maybe one of the talent handlers, told her that maybe she was not good enough, that she had to bring it up a little bit, being a little bit shady. Remember the stream that we did on episode 8, where we showed all this kind of shady comments and so on, and this thing, bring on the vulnerability. It's so forced. It's so forced. I don't know what went on behind the scenes, and you know that my personal way of seeing this thing is to give the queens the benefit of the doubt. So what I think it happened is that she was completely discouraged coming in, and she tried everything she could to stay relevant. But the problem is, I am watching as a spectator, okay? I'm not watching it as one of Jackie's friends, and I want to be entertained, and this is not entertaining, and this is not necessarily on Jackie, this is on the editors. Nevertheless, Jackie is the one who kept it up time after time, and I'm tired of it. I'm sorry, I'm tired of it. It's been too much. So, Jackie's rehearsal go away. Next up, we have Crystal. Poor Crystal. You know, everybody told Jada, you in danger, girl. But the real girl that was in danger during this episode was Crystal. All the time. Especially during rehearsal.
How do you think El DeBarge would move?
Probably.
It's funny.
So as you can see, RuPaul's medications, they're not her personal medications. They are for everybody. They have 44 producers, 13 talent handlers, 12 queens competing on the show, 4 judges, 5 judges, whatever the hell it is. Everybody can take a dip in RuPaul's medication, and this is the result. This is the result of that. And you might say, why do they have to steal RuPaul's medications? I mean, they can simply do it like everybody else does. Take some money from the budget and go buy some Coke. You know, it's not like the budget is there to be actually spent on the show. Do you realize that? It's just to get high so that nobody steals RuPaul's medication. But that's not enough. That's not enough. Because immediately after, we get to RuPaul's To Catch a Predator race.
Do you know how to do the swim? Uh-huh. Do you know how to do the jerk?
Legend has it that RuPaul went to the bathroom for half an hour after this. I can assure you, she went to the bathroom for half an hour. Oh my God, that is just too much. That is just too much. I mean, it's fun to talk about it. It's fun to make fun about it. But, you know, in the back of my mind, sometimes I think, what was it like for Crystal to be inside this thing and having RuPaul behaving like this during the whole filming? How must it have felt? You know, she's like, oh my God, I have to go along with it. She's not doing anything. I have to go along with it. I cannot say anything. You know what she should have done? She should have brought out her inner pearl, you know, and look at RuPaul's and tell her, what the fuck are you looking at, bitch? Because as you learned in this season, insulting someone is the funniest thing ever. Bare insults are the funniest things ever. Don't forget about that. Let's go on. Do we have someone else? Yes, we still have Gigi's rehearsal, because don't forget, this episode, it's all about Gigi. It doesn't look like, but that's because the editors this time did their job, or at least they tried to do their job, and they succeeded. Because this is all about Gigi, and none of you out there would have thought that this episode was all for her.
Okay.
Not quite.
It seems a little memorized and rote. Can you put the paper down?
Now, for today's flight, let me try that again. I really get caught up in my head when I have to think on my feet. You know, just like think on your feet. You can do this. It's just improv. And my mind just doesn't work that way. Terrified. I don't want to look like an idiot.
So let's take the jokes aside for a moment, okay? Let's be serious for a moment. Because this moment kind of got to me, because we finally got to know something about Gigi. It's incredible. It's been 11 episodes, and the only thing that we know about her is what the judges told us about her. But in this moment, when she comes out and says, listen, I have to have everything scripted. I cannot let go. I cannot simply come out and be spontaneous. And you know why people usually do things like this. I'm saying usually. I'm not projecting on her. I'm just making an assumption here. Usually when people have to program everything and have everything scripted in order to not be spontaneous, it's because if somebody criticizes you and you basically whatever you behaved was scripted, then you can go back and say, okay, whatever worked I did in making the script can be improved upon. So next time I'm going to improve it. But if you are being spontaneous, then the critics that come from other people is direct to your persona. So you have to integrate it inside yourself and do a little bit of work on yourself and understand what the hell happened, which is immensely more difficult than simply go back and read through a script and see what didn't work. And this, I think, was a gigantic window into who the hell is Gigi, because we have no idea. I have no idea who she is. I know who the character is. The character is a hero with great fashion style, who can do no wrong, who is the bestest ever, and so on and so on and so on. But the person behind it, I know absolutely nothing. And this was the very first insight that we have. Episode 11. That is the power of editing for you. The power of editing and producing. But this, I think, speaks volumes. It really speaks volumes because, after all, she's 21 years old. Do you get that? 21. She's young. It's normal. At this age, it's completely normal. But when they start with the production and with the editing, projecting this image, this immense image on her, you are basically putting how is it called? I don't get the term as usual, but you are imposing something that it's not helping this person behind it to do what she's supposed to be doing at 21, which is letting go, be whoever you are, use whatever kind of feedback you get, good, bad, whatever it is, use whatever it is to discover who you are, because at 21 you're still evolving as a person, and then build up the adult that you will be tomorrow. That is what you should be doing at 21 as a person. But when you project such an immense image, it comes with a huge baggage to keep on. And of course, the producers really don't care about it. They're in for the coin. So whatever happens to Gigi in a year, who cares? A new batch of Queen is coming, a new one to take advantage of. Allegedly. We have to say allegedly. Remember, if we don't say allegedly, it's slander. So let's go back to the workroom, and we find out that apparently this my partner found this out. We found out that they don't have walls in in the workroom. They do not have walls. Instead of walls, guess what they have? They have this sheet of seemingly plastic paper that in some way is held to the bottom of the room. That is what the workroom is. So let's watch.
A big part of that has to do with...
Okay, well, who's gonna be stronger than the other?
It changed the whole thing, and it's gonna be something else. But I'm excited.
It's not until you hear somebody's job is literally to guide you through your own self.
Did you see? Did you notice? The wall was wobbling. The wall was wobbling. They couldn't even afford to use cardboard for the fake walls. Okay? It's a sheet of plastic paper. And what should I have to say about this? I don't know. They have a budget. They should stop snorting the budget. Allegedly. Stop snorting the budget. Go back to RuPaul's medications. I mean, she's not using it. Clearly, she's not using it. So, maybe next time, maybe next season, we are going to have cardboard walls, at least. You know, maybe not. You don't need cement, stuff like that. It's a studio. But cardboard, come on, everybody can afford cardboard. And put this whatever it is that you have there, nail it on the cardboard. We're not able to see the nails, you know. Do something about it. Do something. Use the budget. Use the budget. What are they doing with the budget? And you see, this episode is all about Gigi and all about the budget. I don't know. They ran out of money? What is it? It's episode 11. Did they really run out of money? Whatever. I don't know. Nicotine withdrawal is a bad beast. I can assure you, it's a bad beast because I think I'm worse than usual. Am I? Chat, what do you think? Am I worse? Anyway, so we are. Where are we? I lost track, as usual. That's professional, but I am not paid to be professional. I am not paid by World of Wonder to be professional. Do you understand, editors and talent handlers, cameramen, whoever gets paid? Do they even pay them? Are they intern? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know yet. Maybe somebody one day will send an email at toprpdrvideos@gmail.com and share some tea behind the scenes. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. Maybe somebody will really contact us. Yannick Garber says, yeah, you're a little bit worse. Okay, fantastic. I slept a total of 5 hours tonight. I got the episode yesterday night, so I've been editing until half an hour before I came here. And I'm running on caffeine and, how is it called? Taurine. That's energy drinks. I had one just before I came here. Beautiful. So, what do we have next? Where was I? Oh, the main stage. Next is the main stage. So we have the main stage. Everybody's laughing. Fantastic, beautiful. And I don't know if any of you noticed, but look at your audience. This is 3 rows of chairs. The third row looks it like it's half a row. So I counted a total of 36 people. So they couldn't even bear to call all the producers in to sit and fake being the audience for the show. Because I mean, why should you pay other people to be in the audience? Just go to Talent Endless number 37. Come here, go sit on the chair. Fake laugh? Fantastic. You look offended. Beautiful. Where are the third producers? There? Okay, pick a chair, go in the audience. Great. And then we have Dahlia. Poor Dahlia. They're trying to push this thing on Dahlia from the beginning of episode 1. And she doesn't fit in it at all. They are trying. I commend them for this, but she doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all. I mean, the moment you open Dahlia's Twitter, you wish you never had Twitter to begin with. So, we have this main challenge, this entertaining, beautiful main challenge. And I'm going to be an asshole about it. But you also have to understand one thing. Comedy is really difficult. It's one of the hardest things to do apart from crying on cue. Those are really the hardest thing to do the hardest thing to do when it comes to acting. It's really, really difficult. And you do not do stand-up challenges with these kind of queens. It's not to take anything out of these queens. They're all talented in their own unique way, but none of them is a stand-up comedian. I mean, none of them is Shangela, none of them is Trixie, none of them is Katya, none of them is Bianca, none of them is Alaska. There are not these people in there. It's basically doing this challenge was committing suicide. It was suicide because nobody was going to excel at it. Crystal saved herself, but she wasn't that good. She was good, but she wasn't that good. And all the others were simply awful. It was awful. Oh my God. It was awful. It was almost as bad as
The Big Pink Furry Box Theater presents Jackie Cox.
We are the girls of Drag on a Tree.
Crystal Method in Phenomenal Phil, exotic dance instructor. Heidi Aphrodite.
All shapes and sizes are what we bring. Rectangle girls of the world.
Gigi Good.
I'm every girl in a circle I run. You could be square, hun, but don't be a nine.
Jada Essence Hall.
Rectangle girls of the world. Rectangle girls of the world.
You six are really some of the best we've ever had here. I just think you're something else. I wish you would be the six forever and ever.
Oh yes. Yes. You six are the best. I wish we could have you forever and ever. Fuck Bianca Del Rio, fuck Alaska, fuck Sharon Needles, fuck Trixie, fuck Katya, fuck Shangela, fuck everybody. Let's keep this six, okay, for the rest of Drag Race. And she said this after a stand-up comedy challenge. And if you tell me that she took her meds this morning, I will call bullshit on you. She didn't take her meds. Again, nobody stole her meds this time. That's on her. She didn't take them, allegedly. So, the best, fantastic. So from now on, every season we're going to have Gigi. She will play the robot or somebody that's sleeping. And Jackie, she will be talking even more about her family. And what pisses me off about Jackie, and this really pisses me off, is that I had some very important people in my life that they came from the exact country where her mother came. And I thought when she came in, I thought, fantastic, they're going to bring a little bit of that culture You know, demystify a lot of the bullshit that if you ask people about Iran, they will come up with all these stupid facts that everybody takes as a law and completely forget the culture that's behind it. And I thought she's going to bring it. She's going to bring it. Simple facts. It doesn't need to be anything out of the blue. But you know, for example, the fact that they don't like being under the regime. They used to be under a monarchy. Then the regime took it out. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Somebody had to tell me. You know, or the roles between men and females, because in a way you think, oh my god, they have this thing where men have all the power and poor women don't think about it, because they're both miserable in a way, and they both find a way in this misery to find a comfortable living. And that's interesting. And none of this came on. Instead, she's crying about her mother. So you tell me why I shouldn't be pissed off. Whatever. So, while watching this challenge, I noticed something during Jada's performance. I don't know if any of you noticed, and I will publish this on Twitter. It will be uncensored on Twitter because I cannot show you here on YouTube the whole thing. But Jada's performance reminded me of something. And I don't know how many of you know this, but you will be surprised and amused. And in a way, also disgusted.
All I can do is look down at my man on the floor, looking up at me, covered in urine. Please, can we get some air freshener over here?
Oh, no.
God. So, that was Alaska, everybody. And nobody tells me that she doesn't have balls. She doesn't have balls. By the way, that was water. If you think you saw something else, it wasn't that. It was water. I want to stress that. It was water. So, anyway, let's go on. We have the runway. The runway for this episode was the color purple. And of course, nobody thought about notifying the queens that this was called the color purple because they meant the movie. They didn't literally mean the color purple, the purple color. Whoopi Goldberg was one of the guest judges. Hello. But nobody thought about telling this to the queen. So, of course, they came all with a runway inspired by the purple color. And, you know, when they announced the runway, I had really high hopes because the color purple was one of my favorite drama movie as a kid. I know. I was a messed up kid. But it has a dear space in my heart for me. You know, it really touched me when I was really, really young. Oh, well, I shouldn't have said that. I'm not talking about a movie. I swear I'm talking about the movie. So I was expecting, you know, something coming out of the movie. I thought, wow, fantastic. And then they came out all in purple. So best runway ever, I guess. I mean, they look good. Crystal is out of her mind. She is completely crazy. I'm completely buying it, and she won. She completely deserved to win for the runway, mostly for the runway. That is the thing that I appreciated the most out of it. But I didn't expect this from the runway. I was underwhelmed. Maybe I'm a bitter bitch this week. Yes, I'm a little bit bitter. And then we have the critiques. And of course, from the critique, we have Ross that has to come out and give his opinion about Gigi. Now, Ross, you are cute as hell. I will not deny that. I've been thinking about you for many, many years. But sometimes you should just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up sometimes, because it starts getting really, really on my nerves.
Morning, sinners.
I didn't know you were the Don Rickles of drag. Go fuck yourself, Gary. It was a completely original idea.
Thanks, Karen.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, Gary. That is so original. Oh, and by the way, fuck you, RuPaul. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't give a shit. She's off her meds. Don't forget that. Allegedly. So you can tell her whatever you want. Next time when I'm going on Twitter, I will go on I will at RuPaul and tell her fuck you, bitch, and she will pin my tweet and tell everybody to subscribe to my channel because I told her to fuck off. That was the funniest thing ever. You know, I never known that insult comedy could be used this way. It's simply genius, revolutionary. I don't know, guys. It's too much. It's too much. I was out with it 3 episodes ago. But then it continuously comes to this. Insults are not funny. The way they are used are funny. You cannot go, oh, well, what am I even discussing about? I should not be even discussing this because comedy is subjective. So something that's cringy to me, maybe it's funny for someone else and vice versa. So forget everything that I said. But you know, there's so much. So I'm starting to get an upset stomach. Whatever. So we go to the lip sync, and of course we have Whoopi Goldberg as a guest judge. We have people coming out and say how much they loved The Color Purple, the movie. The theme of the runway is The Color Purple, and the song for the lip sync is Purple Rain. Of course it's Purple Rain, right? No, it's not Purple Rain. They couldn't afford that. Why? Because they snorted all the budget. That's why they couldn't afford that, allegedly. So we have this song that's it's a song, it's there. They are both trying to do the best they can with this song, but seriously and honestly, okay? So we like being stupid, we like being serious, we do whatever we do, but for a moment, let's being honest and objective. Do you think this is one of the best songs for Prince that you can use for a lip sync? And even if you don't know Prince, do you think that this song is a good lip sync song? Because, I mean, what can you do with this song? It's not really upbeat. It doesn't really have a melody. It doesn't really bring on contrasting emotions that the queens can channel during the lip sync because, you know, they're not singing. So the perfect song for a lip sync is one that travels through emotions, you know, emotions that the performer can channel. But this song was just flat. It was flat. So many of the lip sync songs in this season were just flat. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, a song from Prince is expensive. No matter the song, it's going to be expensive. Is it so difficult that you couldn't find another song that would have allowed this performers to bring out the best they could? Because they are crippling them. With this song, they're crippling them. So, I don't know. I didn't like the song for the lip sync. I think it was deterring for the both of them. And if you really had to have a Prince song, it should have been Purple Rain. I'll go as far as saying that probably that's what they wanted to do, but then for some reason they had to change it because, I mean, Whoopi Goldberg, Color Purple Runway, Color Purple the movie, and then you go with Prince. I mean, that song won an Academy Award. So, you know, I think it was supposed to be there. Anyway, let's go on. Let's go on to the chart for this episode. As you see, we have a ton of positive confessionals for Gigi, Heidi, and Jackie. And as you see, we have almost, half a minute. It's almost a third of Jada's confessionals that are framed in a negative way. So this didn't happen by chance, of course. She won 2 challenges in a row. I don't know why they even decided to make her win the challenges in the first place, if then they needed to bring her down so much. because there was really not much going on when you think about it. There was that thing with Jackie, but I mean, they weren't even insulting each other. They whatever it is. But the important thing that you notice is that the character has been brought down during this episode. It went up, 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 and then at the last moment it was brought down. So who is left for taking this crown? Jackie with no wins, Crystal has 1 win, and Gigi. I mean, it doesn't go as far as this. I don't know. Maybe she win again next episode. At this point, I'm not going to exclude it. Why not? Why not? So what's going to happen next episode? Well, we're going to have a bottom 2. That is for sure. One of the contestants of the 4 that you see on screen. Oh, sorry. Let's put on the season chart, because I also have the season chart for this 4. So one of the 4 people that you see in this shot was supposed to go home before they disqualified Redacted. So in my opinion, it was supposed to be Jackie, for all the reasons that we've talked about during all the other streams. So who's going to be the other one? I think there is absolutely no chance that Gigi will be in the bottom next episode. She will never be in the bottom. That's not part of her hero-headed. So it's either going to be Jackie versus Jada or Jackie versus Crystal. I don't know which one of the two. It depends on who does really well in the challenge. So let's start from that. Who is going to win the next challenge? Well, Jackie is going to be on the bottom, so we excluded that. One of these 3 is going to win, or Redacted is going to win, but I don't think she is going to win. They are going on her really, really hard, which is a good thing. They didn't predict that, but it's still a good thing. So they could either give Gigi a win, a 4th win, which I think that's the most probable thing to happen. They will never give Jada another win. That it's absolutely out of the question. But they might give another win to Crystal, because that would make her look like she actually has a shot for the crown. I don't think that they will go as far as pushing Crystal too much, because the reality is that she didn't get to properly showcase herself during Drag Race. And this is not about Crystal herself. I think it's because of the format of how Drag Race is made. As we said last episode, a drag show that could have fully taken advantage of Crystal's abilities is not out there at the moment. And this is why I don't think she has any possibility to win. Maybe if Gigi wasn't there, we could talk about it. But with Gigi there is really, really no possibility that she can win. So giving a win to Crystal, it's like a safe bet, you know? You are not pushing too much on Gigi, because maybe they realize that they went too far. But you're still giving a win to someone who doesn't really, really have a shot. So Crystal could win, or Gigi could win. So how are the probability? Well, for me, it's Gigi 70%, Crystal 30%. That's who is going to win. So if Crystal is winning, then we're going to have Jada versus Jackie. If Crystal is not winning, then we might have Jackie versus Crystal. This is the prediction for next episode. Next episode, what is it? Episode 12. It's supposed to be the last episode. I hope it's the last episode, because I'm I'm being destroyed during these streams every week. Still, it's my choice. You're right. It's my choice. But I think it's the last episode, next episode. It's going to be interesting. I'll be fully in. And what do I want to say? I forgot. Well, I blanked out. Sorry. I blanked out a little bit. Oh yes, next episode we are going to make the predictions for the lip syncs. In case they do the finale. I don't know. I don't know if they will have the live finale. I don't know. It could even be that they simply come out with the top 3. You know, whoever was supposed to go home next episode will go home, and they, in the end, they come out with the top 3, and then they film it in studio. I don't know. Maybe they will test everybody for, you know, the disease, and maybe do something only in the studio. I don't know what they're going to come out with. If you ask for my best opinion on that, I think they're going to wait. They're going to wait a little bit to see how things are going. A proper finale, a live finale with audience, I think it's completely out of the question. That will never happen. But maybe we'll be lucky enough to have them in the theater actually lip syncing. Maybe parts of it will be live. I don't know. If you have any idea, write it down. I'm going to read the comments, and we'll read your comments as well. So let's go back to the comments. What do we have? Fantasia Jones, you're one of the Patreon supporters. Welcome, and thank you for supporting our asses. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's really, you know, we have like 2 Patreon supporters. So when you popped up last month, I was all filling my hopes. So thank you. Fantasia Jones says she didn't ask for it, but she wasn't fighting for a different spot. Okay, so you're talking about Jada in here. Yes, but maybe she was fighting and they didn't show it. That's something that we should think about as well. I tend to agree with you. I don't think she was fighting for it. I think she tried to be to act like, okay, I will be the grown up. I will take the last position, and then she regretted it. But that is also an option. Maybe they did have a discussion, but we didn't get to see it. It was clearly made on purpose. They could have shown us the whole thing, but it was carefully edited to leave out a question mark. Ivan Dominguez said Nina Bonina Brown should have been Black China. It's been, how long has it been? 3 years. Ivan, let it go. Don Virus says, get her Jade. Kylie Wilson says, LOL, that chicken. You tell me that you didn't see that clip of RuPaul and didn't think about a chicken. She was a chicken. There is no going around that. That's how bad it was. Diogo Moreo says, when Crystal appears with a Brazilian move, I was gagging. With 2 Brazilian moves, I was gagging. Well, it was good. It was good, especially by comparison. You know, at least she was trying. She was trying to actually do the challenge. Everybody else was trying, but they were trying to do the wrong thing. They didn't really understand what they were supposed to be doing. So that I did appreciate it. Emma B says, you're hilarious. No, I'm high as a kite. I'm high as a kite on energy drinks. That's her reality of it. Diogo Moreo says, Handjob is a new dance move, guys. Well, it's RuPaul's favorite moves, you know. She does that while fracking, allegedly. Ivan Dominguez says, Ru about to die, so advertisement agents wanted him to be happy. I don't think RuPaul is RuPaul needs that. She doesn't need that. She has enough on her own. Okay? But, you know, World of Wonder apparently really likes advertisement so much, apparently, so much that they got rid of the library. How can you get rid of the library? That is the best thing. When you think about mini challenges, you think about the library. Don't tell me that you think about something else, because I'm going to make assumption if you do. So they got rid of it. I mean, I understand. Last season, it was really underwhelming, but it was still better than nothing. It was still better than fucking advertisement. Well, you know, at least the episode after, we didn't have another mini challenge. Oh yes, we didn't. We had another advertisement with queens paying for cat costumes to do the advertisement. How good is that? Fantasia Jones says, I thought that they were going to give it to her. I think I lost track of this. Sasha, the editor's doing their job. Oh, that's shocking. Oh, okay, I got what you were talking. That was in that moment. Yes, it is shocking. It is shocking. I mean, I understand them. They probably have, the same amount of people that they had the year before when they were only filming 2 seasons, and then they moved to filming 4 seasons. I mean, in a way, I also have to be fair, okay? It's not like you can just snap your fingers and hire 20 new editors. You have to understand which kind of job the editors do. Okay, so you have to have people that have direct experience or at least direct supervision while editing RuPaul's Drag Race. So it is difficult. But then again, when they moved to VH1, why didn't they start hiring more people a little bit at the time? Because clearly the show was going to expand. They started having all stars every year. They were in negotiation for Drag Race UK. They saw that coming. Okay, we didn't see that coming because they come to us like 3 months before and say, okay, we'll have Drag Race UK. 1 week before, okay, we have Celebrity Drag Race. But they've been knowing at least for a year. Hire more people, train more people. What they did on this season, it was awful. It was awful. I'm not saying I could have done better, but then again, I'm not an editor. That's not my job. So that's how it is. Laura Facey Face says, yes, Melanie, the chicken got me. The chicken got everybody. That's how good it was. I got my partner laughing because of that chicken. It was unpayable. It was so good. Lady Baconator, holy crap. Gigi was actually valuable. Oh, yes, she is. She is very valuable. From the point of view of the producers, she's extremely valuable, especially because she's under contract, and we're going to see what that is about. Fantasia Jones says, I think she pulled it off. She should have had them on different cards. I think she pulled it off. Oh, you're talking about Gigi. Well, I didn't like it. It was just not funny to me. I don't know if it was the delivery or the concept by itself, or maybe I just have a twisted sense of humor. Which, by the way, that could be the answer to many of my reactions for this episode. I'm not denying that. Don Virus says fans are starting to dislike Gigi, to be honest. Yes, that's the problem. But they don't really dislike Gigi. They dislike the edit. They just don't know that. And we're here to do exactly that. It's kind of sad. Since the beginning they started to push us to like her. Okay, sorry, I'm going to read that again. Don Virus. It's kind of sad that since the beginning they started to push us to like her way too much, and it started to be unlikable. Yes, it's the edit is just too heavy. If you have this tiny speck of experience with reality television, this edit becomes too much. It's just too much. It makes her really look like she's not even a person. That's the downside of having a hero edit. You're not a person. You're just a perfect thing. And if you are anywhere over the age of 16, you kind of don't like things anymore. You like people, real people with ups and downs and vulnerabilities and things they struggle with, because that's what we relate to. Nobody relates to something that's perfect. We call something that's perfect as a name already and as a place already. It's called God and it's called religion, and that is as perfect as it gets. Ivan Dominguez says Aquaria 2.0. She's even a robot like her. Come on. Come on, but they are young. We talk a lot of shit and we have fun and we make fun and blah blah blah, but at the end of the day, let's not forget they're 21. Okay, if you looked at me when I was 21, I was way worse. That's the age. You are supposed to be an idiot at that age. You're supposed to act a fool at that age because you have to learn, and you learn by mistakes. Kylie Wilson says the mysterious moving wall. LOL. Yes, you call that a wall? You call that a wall? Diogo Moreo says Aquaria is less robotic than Aquaria 2.0. Well, but you've seen Gigi. She tends a lot to prepare everything. It's like she's not even putting herself out there. So you realize that we are really having two problems here. We have a person who is not coming out there for some reason that I'm not going to speculate because that is her private thing. And on top of that, we have the hero headed, and it's a terrible combination. It's really a terrible combination. So I understand when people call her robotic. Sherayas Cosineo? It's vinyl siding. Oh, the walls, it's vinyl siding. They bring the whole workroom to DragCon. Oh, okay, but that's still come on. Come on. You can still make a vinyl copy to bring at DragCon, and have real walls in there. What happens if a queen falls for some reasons? You have makeup everywhere, brushes, pencils, clothing, props, everything on the floor. What happens if one falls? What happens if one falls on the wall? What does she do? Take down the whole set? I mean, I'm not even sure that that you can do something like that. Maybe there is a regulation that says at least the wall that you have has to have a resistance of, I don't know, 10 kilograms per square meter. I'm in Europe, so I don't use imperial measurements. I'm not even sure that it's with the regulations. Well, when she came out of Drag Race, she talked a lot about everything that was wrong with from a regulation perspective on set. So I wouldn't exclude that. But it was funny. And you know what's more funny? That the wall was moving because of the ventilators. It looks like they don't have air conditioning in there. They have ventilators. Look at the queens. You will see always hair moving, hair blowing on. Well, you don't see the hair, but you see the effect of hair blowing really strong, especially in Untucked. So for some reason, they don't have air conditionings. Because you know what happened to the budget. If you follow the show, you know what happened to the budget. So that RPDR channel. Sophia the robot is less robotic than Gigi. Well, I would say she has more personality, but it's not her fault in a way. Lady Baconator, are you sure that they are snorting the budget instead of injecting it into their arms? I don't know. In order to inject something, you have to get a syringe. So somebody, you have to have an intern going to buy this kind of supplies. It's much easier to snort it. Come on. And also more sanitary, because you never know. Allegedly, let's not forget, the word of this streaming is allegedly. Diogo Moreo says the wall is Miss Vanjie. Laura Facey Face. The ways have been like that for a good few seasons. The ways? What's the ways? I got a shock when I watched Drag Race Thailand and saw the huge room they had with actual wall. Yes. Oh, you're talking about the walls, not the ways. Okay, sorry. But you have to understand. English is not my first language, so if you make a typo when you write, we are in for a very bad treat because we're not going to understand anything. Yeah, I have a feeling that for some reason they actually invested money on Drag Race Thailand, and it's my opinion. I have to say that it's my opinion, and that allegedly, let's not forget that too. I have the feeling that when they moved to VH1, basically World of Wonder was like, yes, we're going to make money, and since we're going to make more money, let's make even more money by moving to something cheaper. Let's pay less for people preparing the challenges. Let's not hire new people. Let's take on more shows. Yes, allegedly. Let's take on all these things and keep the money in our pocket, or snort it, but mostly keep it in our pocket. So you understand when you do things like it, it looks like they're acting as if they don't even believe in the longevity of the show. It looks like they're thinking, who knows how long this is going to last. Let's try to pocket as much as we can right now. And if we have to cut on the budget and cut on the personnel in order to do it, let's do it. Who cares? That's how it looks. Um, Yannick Garber says, you're still very entertaining, don't worry. Thank you. I hope that's the hope, that I'm here talking to the empty room, and at least somebody on the other side of the computer has a little bit of fun with me. That's always the hope. The worst thing is when somebody comes out and says, oh my God, it was so boring, which has happened. But I'm not an expert in doing this kind of thing, so I'm starting to get the feeling of it. I'm starting to get used to it. So we'll see where it goes. Ivan Dominguez. The real question is, what is a talent handler? Well, I can tell you this much. I don't know, but it's not about hand jobs. Sasha, I want to know how much they're paying Dahlia for showing up almost every episode. Well, if we go by the season 4 contract, I think she is paid, I don't know, $200, something like that. If we go by the contract for season 8, if we take into consideration that a lot of things have changed since season 8, Dahlia is probably not being paid to be there. She's there for exposure. You better work for exposure. Diogo Moreo, I think nothing. I don't know what you're referring to. I lost the chat because I was looking at my glass, hoping there was some more energy drink in it, but clearly the glass is empty. Nico Tico says, tea though. Tea to you. Diogo Moreo, roast after season 5 was a mess. Well, if we're talking about the roasts, okay, let's make a difference. Let's make a difference for a moment. If we're talking about roasts, I agree with you. If we're talking about improv, active challenges, then I don't necessarily agree with you. But overall, I would agree that the quality went downhill. But you also have to understand one thing. If you're a queen that is very, very talented in doing live comedy, okay? And of course, you are so talented because you have your own talent, but also because you have the experience that helped you perfecting your act. It's not it didn't just happen by chance that Bianca Del Rio was so good. She was almost 40 years old when she was on the show. She had a ton of experience before. Then you have strange cases like Shangela. If you remember season 3, she just started doing drag and she was incredible from the very beginning. But overall, we don't see queens like this anymore. We don't see that many of them, and I don't think that the point is that you don't have any more queens like this, because the U.S. is a huge place, and they're also starting to take people from other countries. They say, "Oh, I moved in New York for this amount of time," or "Yes, I am American," blah blah blah. They're just taking queens from other countries, so. You have to understand there are tons of queens out there. So what I think is happening is that they just don't audition anymore. They just say it's not worth it. If you have this tiny bit of career to start with, and it's paying your bills, and that's your job, and it's doing good for you, and you have your YouTube channel, you have your Instagram, and you're building a life on that, then it becomes really, really difficult to risk it all to come on a show like this. Because let's be real at this moment, this show changed so much since its inception. It's nothing but a speck of what it used to be. And the point is that if you're really talented and you're able to not only survive, but live with the income that you get, then you will think twice before auditioning for Drag Race. That's the problem. And the other problem is that when they do the casting, they already know what they are looking for. And most of the time, the kind of people that they are looking for do not necessarily need to be also very talented, at least in stand-up comedy. So when they are looking for a villain, for example, they are looking for someone stupid. You have to understand this. They are looking for someone stupid, someone that will run his mouth, that will be easily to manipulate emotionally, easily to to puncture from time to time to get a reaction. So they're looking for someone stupid, and you have to understand. Usually, on average, people able to do stand-up comedy are also smarter than the average person. They have to be, because they are on a meta level. so they have to be a little bit more. So you understand the two things kind of clash with each other. I don't know, maybe I lost myself on the tangent. Let's go on with the comments. I'm getting lost. Yannick Garber says you would hope that they do pay something. Oh, you're talking about Dahlia. But I also feel like they told her, you'll get so much exposure, you'll be new Vanjie. Yes, I completely agree with you. That our PDR channel says Dragometry. That was so bad. That is, but at least it was one of those challenges it's so bad, it's good. It's one of my number one cringe challenge. That's when I feel sad, I watch Dragometry. That's how bad it was. Callie Wilson, I like the new wave challenge. I liked it too, in a bad way, but I liked it too. Diogo Moreo says, we are the girls of Dragometry, rectangle girls of the world. I completely agree. Lady Baconator, that is so cringy, that is, you're right. Sasha, it's so bad it's good. You couldn't have said it better. Melanie's Louis Connor, who remembers season 6 with the elderly people and that woman knitting? Yes, I will tell you something, but I do not have receipts for this, so you have to trust my words. Basically on Reddit, when season 6 was airing, people would go to the live shows and the queens would simply speak out in the live shows. They would tell you what really happened behind the scenes, because nobody was on Twitter. The show, yes, it was relatively big, but it was not massive, not at all. It was still a small queer show. So they didn't really enforce the contract. So during the live shows, the queens would simply speak. And in that live shows, basically Ben spilled out that RuPaul came in and simply came with a knitting package. I don't know what it's called, a knitting thing, and started giving it to people so that they could film reaction shots that then they could edit during the challenge. She also said she was also the one who spilled the tea about when they removed the darker shades of makeup from the workroom, and Jocelyn was the only one who was oh my god, I'm starting to lose words. She was doing a makeover of this man of color, and they removed all the shades of all the darker shades of foundations, and then they came out and said, oh, but she looks metallic, and put a filter on it to make it look even more metallic. And all of this came from Ben de la Creme, from a live show, and that somebody followed and then went on Reddit and wrote everything about it. Of course, we don't see things like this anymore. The queens don't do it. The queens don't do it, because don't forget, in the contract, what they say is if you speak out, it costs $2 million, but they do not say it's a penalty. They say it's a damage of image on which the two parties agree when signing the contract. So what does it mean? It means that they value their image, no matter the damage. They value $2 million in season 8. So now they're on VH1. Drag Race is a world phenomenon. So is it still 2 million? Because I think it's like much more. And this is damage of image. Let's not forget that. Not a penalty. You can discuss a penalty. You can discuss it, but you cannot discuss a damage of image. That's something. Well, they have smart people working on those contracts, so you know. And I lost myself again. Let's go on. Diogo Moreo says, Dragometry is underrated. Fight me. Nobody is going to fight you unless it's in mud and for other reasons. We all agree. Dragometry is underrated. It's some of the best cringe from the show. It's good. Max Rollins says it wasn't Comedy Challenge though. I hope you were talking about Dragometry. Don Virus, what's with these meds? I don't know. I don't know. We can try to make some educated guess, But let's not do that. Let's not do that. Don Virus says, I feel like Rue is going crazy on us. Well, but can you blame her? Can you blame her? She's a woman, a biological woman who always wanted to sing in her life, to sing and to be an actress. Instead, she got to do something that she doesn't like, which is going in drag. She had a TV show on Netflix. It got cancelled. She got what was that? The RuPaul show, and that was cancelled again because she had a RuPaul show before in the 90s, and that was cancelled too. How would you not get crazy? People like her because she's doing RuPaul's Drag Race and nothing else. In RuPaul's mind, what I think is going on is that she couldn't care less about drag and drag race. What she wants to do is to sing and act. So, you know. But it's my opinion. Let's not forget, it's my opinion. Lady Baconator, maybe someone tampered with RuPaul's meds. Somebody tampered with RuPaul's meds, allegedly. No, maybe they simply stole them, you know. This is nice stuff to get high on. Don't do that. That RPDI channel, I don't know why did Ru say you're the best top 6 on the episode where only 2 people did good. Well, do you see double? Were there 2 crystals on the show? I don't know why she said it. I don't know. It was crazy to me. It was surreal. It was so surreal to see her saying something like that. And it was out of the blue, you know. They could have had a sewing challenge, you know. Have them make 3 outfits. Let them excel in doing something like that. And then she could have said you 6 are fantastic. But come on, saying that they are the bestest ever. I mean, fuck all the other contestants. All of them. Lady Baconator. Idiots act like Iran is the same as Saudi Arabia. Yes, but you know, they're not idiots. You know, idiot is a judgment on the ability of someone to reason. They are ignorant, which means that they are lacking the knowledge of something and they're acting based on the fact that they have basically a hole in the way they reason. So, in the information that they use for reasoning. So they just don't know. They just don't know. That's the point. Shereyaz Cosino says, but she's not from Iran. She's an immigrant, which is a more relevant subject matter for us audiences now. Yes, and I agree on that. In fact, you know, this is the first time that I talked about it because, like in episode 3 or 4, I realized that she was born in Canada. So the only thing that she knows about her culture is whatever comes to her mother. But still, it's so much more than what the average audience knows. Still is so much more, and we had nothing of that. Diogo Moreu says, you're the best top 6, season 5 and 6. Fuck my drag, right? I completely agree. Kylie Wilson, is that Trinity? I don't know, because I'm reading this comment half an hour later. Nico Tico, see your point, but seems like you're putting too much weight on Jackie's shoulders. Yes. Also, don't forget I had a terrible week. So I will probably come out back next week, and maybe I will have changed my mind on a lot of things, but let's say I'm just easily pissed off right now. It will pass. It will hopefully pass. Don Virus says, is that Alaska? Yes, it was Alaska. Yes, it was Alaska. You know, I wanted to do a video called When Queens Go Too Far and put this video in there. Then I realized this will never fly on YouTube at all. And if I put it on BitChute, nobody would watch it. So let's just do something funny with it. But I will publish the whole thing on Twitter. And you'll get to see the whole thing because it's hilarious. Because you don't know, but in this song, she's actually lip syncing to How We'll Always Love You. And then that happened. Adore commented on that performance during an episode of Hey Queen. I didn't see it. I didn't see the episode, but I read it on Reddit. Someone mentioned it. So I saw the mini clip in which Adore said, "Oh my God, this inspired me so much." You understand? Nova Black says, "I'm confused. What's your point? LOL." I don't know. We were talking about Alaska. Oh, what's your point with the Alaska thing? I think she was talking about golden showers. Um, Jada, she was talking about golden showers, so that's how it was relevant. But maybe you meant something else. That's my problem. I cannot multitask. Cannot read the chat, do the show, put up video, put up images. Let's go on. Yogo Moreu says, purple color, the Naomi purple dress equals the Naomi purple dress. Could be. Nova Black, if they all wore Whoopi Goldberg's looks, it would be boring, despite the impact of the movie. Well, yes, but don't forget that these are queens. They can, if I would do it, it would be boring because I have zero ability, zero style, zero sense of zero sensibility when it comes to fashion. But they are drag queens. They can do amazing things. So it's not only a great challenge, it's also a throwback to a great movie, a great movie. With so much trash that we are getting in the last decade when it comes to movies, this was an incredible movie. And doing that kind of runway inspired theme, it would have been, in a way, it would be incredible for me. See which kind of concept they come out with. How do they elaborate the whole thing? Because it's not easy. It's not easy, but that's when you see when people really excel. Don Virus says, does anyone remember that movie? I hope they do, and if they don't, that they'll watch it. Kylie Wilson, redacted should have been read more for going overtime. Oh, that was so awful. That was so awful. You know what was the most awful thing of all? That I think that, but I must say I'm biased. But I think that didn't just happen by chance. She is an experienced performer. So she's not like me, that I start reading comments and then I take a tangent and talk for 15 minutes and don't realize that. This is not my job. I'm not used to it, and I'm really naive to it. She's an expert. You do not just forget that time is passing because you are preparing. In a way, not with a script, but in your mind, you are brainstorming things that you want to do. In a way. So it happened by chance. I don't. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's just my bias. I don't like her. I don't like anything that I came to know about her. So I have a bias, and I must recognize that when I give you my opinion. But still, I find it quite unbelievable that she really didn't realize that she used 4 times the time that she was allotted. 4 times. 17 minutes. It's almost 4 times. It's it's hard to believe. Don Virus says, I remember Ghost and the Bodyguard. Yeah, Ghost. Can you believe that my partner watched Ghost for the first time last year? I had to force him. Before he could get the reference. Molly, you in danger, girl. Lady Baconator, redacted should have been in the bottom. Ask for a miracle. Damn. Nova Black, oh my god, can I just be honest? Gigi isn't funny. Welcome to the club. But she's not the only one. Welcome to the club. And it's so difficult. Being funny is really difficult. And we all, as people, have a limited amount of abilities. If we excel in something, chances want that you don't have enough resources in your brain to excel in everything. It's it's like you have a definite amount of money that you can spend in the way you can be better yourself in something, because that is then actual time that you spend in being better at something, that you train yourself into doing it. And Gigi has And I know that a lot of people do not agree on this, but I am impressed. To be 21 and have such polished makeup abilities, I am impressed by that. I don't like the character portrayed on television, but if we're talking about the person, I'm impressed by the makeup itself. And then we can talk about everything else. Yogo Moreo says, fuck you, RuPaul. I watch Dragula now. Well, the two things are not mutually exclusive. Don Virus, who even said Gigi was funny in the first place? Yes, I don't know who told her that she was funny. I don't know who told her that she was funny. I think that's not her shtick. She should try to do other things first. You know, being funny is a niche thing, and not everybody has it in them. Not everybody has it. You can learn to be funny, but if you don't have that something to begin with, it's almost a waste of time. And she has such good taste when it comes to clothes. I wouldn't go as far as to call her a revolutionary fashion-wise, but the talent is clearly there. The talent is clearly there. So she should stick to her gun. But you know, it's a show, and if you have to act, you have to act. Yannick Garber, Redacted apologized. She didn't know. She only learned to love herself after the main challenge. Oh, I love your comment. I'll stick it. I'll stick at that. Okay. I will not say anything else. Let's move on. Let's have a nice time. But I love your comment. It's exactly on point. Kylie Wilson, I think Gigi is funny sometimes. Yes, when she falls asleep. Even it was a joke. Don't take it personally. Even Dominguez, the editors. Nova Black, like insult comedy is really funny, but girl, she's literally making fun of everybody using the bitch like girl. Yes, but that happens when you're young. That happens when you're young. You find something that works, you do that again and again and again and again and again. She did it once as the robot, it worked, and then we continuously saw that. So, you know, I appreciate the effort, but still, as a viewer, I'm going to judge the result. The result was underwhelming. As a person, I would try to, help her in a way, but she's not a friend. She is somebody that's supposed to entertaining me, and the editors are not making this easy. Nova Black, never ever laughed at her. They used their budget on Celebrity Drag Race. Celebrity Drag Race is such a hard topic to treat because to me it was so unwatchable. It was, I don't know if I can say this, but it felt like mental masturbation. I couldn't care less to see these people who I don't even know who they are. But then again, I'm not American, so I'm not exposed to your media, only a little bit of it. So I don't know who they are. They cannot do anything about drag. Then you have these drag queens that come in. It's nice to see them, but then they are not the ones who do the makeup. What are they doing there? They're just, token queens to be on the show to say, hey, this episode we have this. It's, I don't know. I didn't like it. I must be honest, I didn't like it. I will end up watching it because with this much free time, you will end up watching, anything. But I don't know. Kylie Wilson, can you even do an interesting lip sync to Purple Rain? I think you can. I'm going to put it out there. I think you can, but you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing. Nova Black, it's popular, but no. Everybody said no to that. Am I the only one who thought that Purple Rain was interesting as a lip sync, or am I delusional? I might be delusional and a little bit high. Emma B, 1999 is an amazing song, but not for lip syncing. Yes, that's what I think. Even Dominguez, poor Heidi. Yeah, poor Heidi. But we talked about that. You didn't see the... I'm going to bring it next episode. I will have the chart with all the confessionals for the whole season and for the whole girls. And you will see that Heidi topped everybody, not taking into consideration the amount of time that she had on the show by herself. not the confessional, just by herself. She was evolved so much. They really created a window through which we could see the person. And when you do something like that and you have a hero in the season, the two things are not compatible at all. They are absolutely not compatible. That is one of those basic errors in producing that you simply cannot afford to make. You can make it as an intern, you cannot make as a high-ranking producer. You cannot do stuff like that. If they wanted Heidi in the top 3, she would have had much less development, less confessional times, less time on the show. She wouldn't have been in the bottom so much. But then again, from our perspective, if she wasn't in the bottom, we wouldn't have noticed that she actually can lip sync. She might be from the country, but that's something that she can do. So you also have to understand this. Emma B, if they wanted something cheaper, maybe When Doves Cry. Yes, I mean, you can have a lot of different songs that come really cheap, especially old hits like they used to do in the earlier seasons. Why not? But I don't know who the hell is producing this. I don't know if they even stopped thinking about it for a moment and in creating something. It looks like they got comfortable with the success. Like it happens to many, many different companies and even independent creators. They get comfortable with the success and they stop putting all the effort that they are actually able to put in. This is how it looks like. Even Dominguez, they spent all the budget on Nicki Minaj. Could be. It could very well be. Which, by the way, no offense intended to Nicki Minaj, but what was even the point? When we have so many queer icons out there, what's the point of Nicki Minaj? I mean, you're doing it for the general public. You're not doing it for queer people. Kylie Wilson, I tried lip syncing to 1999 and I had fun, but that's just me. Well, whatever you do in the privacy of your room, don't come out there and saying it, because I will make fun of you. Just kidding. Diogo Moreo, all song is good for a lip sync. The problem is not the song, it's the performer. That's debatable. I see the point in saying if you have a very good performer, you can lip sync to anything. But then again, how many of those kind of performers are actually out there? I mean, we can always discuss about the 2%, the statistical 2%. But at some point, let's talk about on average, give a chance to anybody. You cannot always expect to have that 2%. At some point, talented people, you don't always have that 2% of the top talented people, either because they don't audition or because you exhausted them. So don't make it even more difficult. That's what I'm saying. Melanie Luce Connor, maybe Kiss? Are you talking about Kiss the band? That would be an interesting choice. Noah Black, look over there. Look over there, and I lost the chat. Oh, where was I? Okay, I found the chat again. Kylie Wilson, I'll be shocked if Jackie is not the next to go. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Nova Black, exactly. I don't hate Gigi, but literally, they're giving her the win. Yes, they're giving her the win, and not even on a silver platter. It's like on a platinum platter with rose petals around and... Lady Baconator, any chance that Redacted will be in the bottom next week? I think none. She has that. I think she was in the beginning. I believe that she was supposed to have a kind of hero headed like Gigi, mostly because of what I read of her abilities. But then I realized that a lot of the editing choice that we've been shown, and so that probably stayed there even before they actually re-edited the show when everything that happened. She kind of had a villain edit. But the problem is, in order to develop a villain edit, you have to actually show the person. and the point of re-editing the show was not to show her. So I think she was supposed to be in the villain, as a villain, you know, a season-long villain. And this kind of villains are rarely in the bottom. What they actually do when they have this kind of villains is to keep them safe, give them a win from time to time, you know, keep them comfortable. Because when they're comfortable, when they think they're in the right, they actually flower with all their villainous intents and so on. So I don't think there is any chance. Lady Baconator, how did only Michelle called out Redacted for going overtime during the challenge? Maybe they called her out more. We just didn't get to see it. For some reason, maybe because, you know, since she was supposed to be in the top 4, they couldn't go so hard on her. But don't forget, we also didn't see any kind of praise. We saw a little bit of it, but nothing compared to what she would have gotten if everything that happened didn't happen. Yaniv Carber, did you notice any shady editing in the audience reaction to the main challenge performances? Like something, it felt like the laughter and the reaction shots were quite different from each other's. I think that if I looked closely, I could have noticed them. The problem is that every time I have to come on stream on Sunday, and I am trying to keep to be regular in this, you know, because most of the time notifications don't go out, people don't know. I'm trying to write it in the community and blah blah blah, but a schedule is what really helps people knowing what we are doing and when we're doing it. So what happens is that I don't really have the time to check minor things like that. I think that it would be almost impossible, because what happens is that they basically filmed. They have 1 or 2 cameras pointed on the audience, and they film only the audience. And then when they are in the editing room, they show whatever they want when they want. So, for example, it's not necessarily shady, because maybe a queen is doing something really funny and your audience is laughing, but it's not, you don't have a good shot for some reason. Maybe because somebody stood up, maybe because somebody was on the phone, maybe because somebody was not there. So you use a shot from another moment. You basically, they have all these reaction shots, and then they come out and say, okay, this has to be funny here, so let's put these reaction shots. This was funny, but it has to look like it wasn't, so let's do this. I'm sure that you can do it, but with this amount of experience that they have in filming and editing Drag Race, it would be extremely difficult. What we could do is look back, for example, at season 6 and see the audience reaction. That would be interesting, because they didn't have that much of experience yet, and we could actually clock some stupid shit going on. Jeffrey Jill, this season is terribly overshadowed. Celebrity, All-Stars, shitty pop, and, well, I cannot say that word. Well, it didn't take much to overshadow it. MRWGR339. If Gigi wins next week, it would be the most apparent way of the producers showing that they want Gigi as their season winner, because usually the episode where the top 4 is selected, there is no winner. Yes, but don't forget that we have 5 queens. You know, I say 4 because 1 has been eliminated, but we still have 5 queens. So they probably had a winner. They didn't have a winner when we used to complete with 4 queens and then say, okay, now we have this episode, or for some reason. I think they will have a win. Emma B, I feel like there is actually a decent chance that Crystal is our winner. I don't think so. It would be a breath of fresh air, but you have to consider something for a moment, okay? And this is not personal. It's from a purely monetary perspective. It's very likely that from the contract, World of Wonder gets a cut of whatever the queens earn. Okay, so the most the queen is hyped, the most she's out there, the most she is digestible to a large audience, the more probable it is that she gets collaborations, that she gets paid more for doing live shows, that she gets paid for appearing in different places, bringing the brand of Drag Race with her, spreading the name, they take a cut from it. So, you know, I'm not saying Crystal is not talented, but she's not really digestible by the average larger audience. It is if you know who she is, if you actually can get the time to know who she is. But if you don't know who she is, when you take a look, chances are that people look at her and say, well, it's strange. What's next? Because that's how the average general audience react. You know, the average general audience that doesn't really care about drag queens, doesn't really care about the show. They want a simple, immediate message. Fashion, for example, like Gigi. That's what you can sell easy. And at the end of the day, don't forget, this is a business. We like to think that it's not, but it is. Beatrice Boccolotti. We see the wooden frame of the wall every time they exit the workroom when they leave with the luggages. Do we? Maybe I didn't pay attention to it. The wooden frame. Oh, you mean on top? You mean on top? Well, part of it has to be done in wood. Part of it absolutely has to, like the doors, for example. But they must have some kind of. Might be wood. It might be metal from which this vinyl sheets come from. Sorry. It's midnight and off. My English is getting worse than usual. It must be attached to something, I mean, I'm not pretending like I want to believe that it's a real room, but I find it strange. I find it strange that they have vinyl walls. Come on, you can do better. Alethea says a talent handler is a mix of personal assistance and babysitter. Okay, so they are the one who sneaks RuPaul's medications. Allegedly. Fantasia Jones, no need to talk to yourself. You can always call me and we can talk about a drag race together on Zoom. Energy drink, money coming soon. I have this thing now that it's coming out. When I made the Patreon, I didn't know what I was doing. So I tried to make what like everybody else does, like with premieres and movie and a movie, yes. How is it called? Early access and so on. And then at some point I realized this feels so manipulative. It feels so disrespectful to people who actually like the channel, but they simply cannot afford to tip you. And it's not something that has to be done. It's a plus, but it's not something that has to be done. And this thing of like selling easy access, I don't like it. But the moment we get at least 10 Patreon, I'm going to make like, I don't know, a monthly Patreon stream or something to get back to the people who actually tip us, because a thank you is nice, but to show a little bit of appreciation. Laura Facey Face. Has someone seen the TV show Unreal? It's a scripted drama about the behind the scenes of reality TV show like The Bachelor. I think the main characters are like the talent handlers, producers. I watched that show. I watched it like 3 years ago. It is so good. It's heavily dramatized. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. If you go and watch Unreal, keep in mind it's heavily dramatized. But if you keep that in mind, it also gives you a very good idea of what actually goes on behind the scenes. Okay, because reality TV, in a way, it's all the same. The subject changes, but the practices are all the same. It's like a model. You have that model and you apply it in very different kind of show, but it's basically the same concept. Laura Facey Face. I'd highly recommend season 1, but it jumps the shark after that. It does a little bit, but it's still good. I found it entertaining, but you also have to think about the fact that I am that kind of idiot that spends 3 hours stamping every confessionals and then goes on Excel to make all this column and graphs and so on. So I am that kind of person. And I found it interesting. So maybe I don't know. For someone else, it might be maybe boring after the first season. But if you have nothing to do, watch it. Watch the first season. If you're not hooked by episode 2, then leave it. Otherwise, go on. Fantasia Jones says, I was thinking about Unreal too. I love that show. That's why on the main show of the Chop, when we move on to actually discussing the episode, you on the mirror you see written Unreal. That is a reference to the show. Melanie Lewis Connor, never seen it, but I will check it out. Absolutely, check it out. It is so good. It's so good. Fantasia Jones says, sometimes it might not be worth going. Look what they did to Brita. Sometimes it might not be worth going to the race. Look what they did to Brita. Yes, that's the point. But that is also one of the major points where we're actually having this show, to debunk this kind of things. Because what we want to see is talented people to go on the show and not having to be so worried about the potential of destroying their career. You know, that's a huge motivation in coming here and doing this stream and doing this shows to actually show this face from World of Wonder. And when they start to acknowledge that and start to take that into consideration and finally start to dial it down, at that point, all the talented people who think it's not worth it will start auditioning again. Red Division, I appreciate your insight, but you seem to go off on an angry tangents about insignificant things. I do. I do, especially today. I drank too many energy drinks and I'm trying to quit smoking. So you really understand. My nerves are I have them on my skin. It takes really nothing. So this is not normal. If you're new to the stream, I'm not always like this. But yeah, I get lost on a tangent. Yes, that's just me. That's how I am. Melanie Louise Connor. The Queen also have a big social media following, allegedly. Oh, the Queens have to have a big social media following. Well, they like it, don't they? Since the last 3 or 4 seasons, they took in a lot of queens with huge social media following because, you know, it's also good publicity for the show. These people are bringing new potential viewers. So, and if you score big with someone that's big already, you can really make a ton of money. Really make a ton of money because it's on Drag Race. It's not difficult to make a nobody into a somebody, but it's also really easy to make a somebody into a superstar. So keep that in mind. Lady Baconator. Sadly, queens who get villain edits get strong backlash from the show's fans, and they have trouble finding gigs after the show. Yes, that's the point. That's what really angers me, you know? Not only you have people basically treating you like shit online because they just don't get that it's entertainment, but this also robs them of the opportunity to actually pay their bills and bring food on their table. That is the part that it's disturbing. You know, people say, oh, this person wrote, yes, there are a lot of stupid people writing a lot of stupid things online. What I found really disturbing is when I realized that these people don't get to pay for their food. They lose job. They actually lose job. That is a huge problem. And at the best of my knowledge, World of Wonder didn't come out with any word about exactly this topic. Difficult that they have in finding jobs afterwards. Because we already know from the contract that they get paid next to nothing to be on Drag Race. What they get is in exposure. That's what they really get from it. So, Kylie Wilson, the tea is being spilled. Well, I wouldn't call it tea. I would call it things that World of Wonder should be ashamed of. But, you know, at this point, I couldn't give less of a shit about it. They are bringing this upon themselves, and it's It's not talking shit anymore. It's simply calling things for what they are. Lisbeth Paulino. Oh my god, this last episode was painful for me to watch. I didn't find it funny at all, so much that I didn't even finish it. And I don't think this next episode is going to be better. Well, as you may know, I was kind of impaired when I watched it. So, I had a real big bias with this episode. I didn't enjoy it either. It had some very good moments, like when we finally got to understand who Gigi is. But other than that, it was underwhelming in general. Diogo Moreo, Talia is the longest first eliminated, and it's weird. It could have been better if it wasn't Dahlia. If it was somebody who could camp it up a little bit more, yes, but Dahlia is not a campy queen. Yannick Garber, another question. How much do you think RuPaul makes decisions on how much do you think? Oh, okay. So how much decision power Ru actually has on who goes home? And then do the editors create story based on that? Or how much do the producers tell her who to send home? Okay. Sorry, I read the questions, nobody understood because I read it wrong. But I understood the question. So what I think happens is that they have all these 44 producers with high-ranking producers, middle producers, executive producers, assistant producers. They have, all this thing divided in a hierarchical way. And they come out, they have basically a blueprint, okay? I think that they have for these seasons we need 3 queens of color, 1 Asian, 1 or 2 young and talented, 2 queens who will stir the pot and they're not that smart. So we basically need this, okay? Then they take a look at who actually auditioned for the show. And based on that, they look through the blueprint that they have and they cast the people who can match the best the kind of stories that they want to tell. So for example, for a season they want to have for example a season with a big hero. So they're going to cast based on the fact that they want to tell a seasonal story about a hero. Or maybe they want to have a season based on the story of a big underdog or a big weirdo, and then they build the season around it, and based on the kind of story that they want to tell, they have different blueprints for the kind of queens that they will want to be on the show. Then they look at the queens who actually auditioned and trying to find the better compromise between the two things. Once they achieve the good compromise and the casting is finished and everything is confirmed, I think that they already come out with an elimination prediction. It's already there from the beginning to the end. The problem is, how much control do they actually have on who will fuck up, who will do good, who will do bad? They have a ton of control, especially when they decide to make acting challenges, because those are the easiest to manipulate, to make them look as basically whatever you want them to look. So they have a lot of control on the elimination order, but don't forget that extreme things might always happen. If something is so extreme that it's worth it to go off board or a little bit off board, then they will probably have to do it. But it has to be something really extreme, like when Valentina refused to lip sync and kept on the mask. Or in season 3 when Jara basically gave up the lip sync. That is or Adore when she left the race. That is the kind of thing that has to happen to actually make them either slightly modify their plan or to try to modify it in a more substantial way. Okay? This is what I think happens. Of course, this is still my opinions. This is just what I think. But this is the best I would say that this is the best I could come up if I had to imagine what's really happening behind the scenes. Because don't forget, it is a business. It is a business and it has a formula. And the last thing that you want is unpredictability. Unpredictability is bad for business. It's very good from an entertaining perspective, because something that's really unpredictable from the beginning to the end can be potentially really entertaining for us, like really entertaining. The problem is, when you have that kind of unpredictability, you have to do triple the work in the editing room, because it's more difficult to tell the story that you want to tell. Instead, by directioning each queen, each episode, for example, look at the way RuPaul talks and gives advices to everyone. Take a close look at that. Keep attention at that. And you already start seeing that they're kind of pushing them in a road. Okay? Because it makes it easier. It makes everything easier. And at the end of the day, they have to make the most amount of money they can with the least amount of effort, possibly without fucking up the brand. But as we've seen with many other brands, this is something that it's becoming common in all the medias around us. A lot of people who are hired to basically make money now, and then who cares about the brand? And this, to me, this is what's happening to Drag Race. This looks like something that's happening to Drag Race. Diogo Moreo, a club kid, but don't understand club kid. Oh, did I miss? Oh, yes, I missed. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I missed comments. Alethea says, I'm playing ESO, so I'm only listening. Don't worry. Rue hates drag. She was a club kid. Oh, and that was the answer. Okay. Yeah, she was a club kid back in the 50s. Alethea, she doesn't have to push her junk in. I don't think she ever did. I don't think she ever did. Depends on the meds. Some are nice, other give you the neuroleptic jitters. Kylie Wilson, I will always love water sports. Yes. My God. Alethea says, I don't really care for water sports, but I do it if my partner is super into it, but it does nothing for me. Well, that is something that goes in the privacy of the couples. You know, don't judge anybody. Inside your house, you do whatever you want to. I don't care. Kylie Wilson, not me personally. I was just making a play on I will always love you. Well, do whatever, girl, do whatever gives you pleasure. Or if you're willing to do it for your partner, then you're a good person. You're really putting yourself out there. You're really making a step. Alethea, well, it's harder to forget time when you are on a show. It is harder to forget time when you are on a show. That I can believe, but I'm sure. Well, for me, I must only speak for myself, okay? For me, it's really easy to lose track of time. But then again, I'm not a professional. Alethea says, I guess they cut out shitty pie so hard that they cut out how people were annoyed. Were annoyed with her for hogging the limelight, or better, being an ego pig. Well, don't be too hard on her. Don't be too hard on her. What she should get is fall into being ignored, being completely ignored. It could be that they were harder on her, but you know, you're supposed to be there for 5 minutes. 17 minutes is a little bit too much for an expert performer. It's too much. Diogo Moreo says, Celebrity Drag Race is just RuPaul showing that is 100% GGGGG. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. It's really late. Anna, I'm late. I'm too. I'm too. Lisbeth Paulino. Ironic of Ru charging $2 million if Queen's there to talk about the show and then just feel entitled to change Heidi's name on every episode just because... Well, $2 million it was from season 8, and it's not Ru, it's World of Wonder. The contract is signed with World of Wonder, not with RuPaul. If something has changed in the 4 seasons, I don't know, because I don't have the season 12 contract, okay? But they signed the contract with World of Wonder, so we're going to ask World of Wonder to take responsibility for this kind of things. Lady Baconator says, Celebrity Drag Race does nothing for me. Welcome to the club. Alethea, Nicki Minaj has been so homophobic a few times. I don't know. I don't follow her, and rap is not really my genre. Kylie Wilson, I feel like the judges give away too many free passes to whoever the big girl is that season. The last few seasons, and I'm a big girl myself. I think I lost a piece. Or maybe also you lost a piece. Well, no, you definitely lost a piece while writing, girl. But I got what you meant. Don't forget, I don't know about that. I didn't pay attention to it, because when I think about big girls, I think about Eureka, for example. But Eureka had a storyline before even coming to to season 11. So I don't know, but don't forget that, like it or not, there is a thing called forced representation, which I will not call real representation. I will call a false representation, and this thing is real. So I didn't notice anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was there. You know what I mean? Kiara, I fell asleep. I'm super late. I hope you didn't fall asleep listening to me. There are so many look queens that won already. I wish somebody different would win this time. Well, it doesn't, every once in a while, a little bit of difference. It's so many look, but don't forget, the look is easy. Look is something that is easy to transmit, because you can simply have a picture, and there you have it. Explaining the talent of someone who can do stand-up comedy takes a little bit more effort, for the average viewer, because you have to actually watch a video. But with a good look queen, just with a picture, you can immediately get sucked in. Lian Pinto, no entiendo. Okay, well, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. Alethea, I love it when people don't tier Patreons and don't sequester material. As a poor person, I'm happy you do share that opinion. Yes, it feels, it feels so manipulative, on top of the fact that you're not even giving something special. You're giving something that you are supposed to give in already. You're just taking other people out of the things that you're going to give them anyway. That is the part that really fucks me up. That's something that I really don't like. Because if you do something exclusively for Patreon, that is another thing. But it has to be exclusive, sequestering content and giving this, I don't like it. I don't like it. We don't do that anymore. We try to align to everybody else, thinking they have a point, and they don't. They just don't. Lian Pinto, Gigi a love bitch. Okay. Alethea says, also, Gia Gunn's interview was great. I missed a comment. Yes, I'm reminding you of that Sarah Z video. Also, Gia Gunn's interview was great. Yes, that Sarah Z video, good thing that you reminded me. There is a video out there from this content creator called Sarah Z that is about Drag Race. I don't remember the title, but Alethea, if you want to write it, it's a very good video. If you enjoy the kind of content that we do, when people, when people really think about what they're talking about and reason about it, and they're not very extremely polarized about everything, that you can have a chit chat and actually go to the important points. So Sarah C did this video, which was really, really good. If you're bored, if you don't know what to do, watch it. Okay, she talks about a lot of things, especially how the edit can really mess up with the people's livelihood. So watch that video. She's a famous YouTuber. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it if you missed it. Kiara, well done, stay strong. You can do it. It's harder and harder until one day you didn't think about smoking anymore. Just be careful not replacing a bad habit with another. Yeah, it's not just hard, you get crazy. You really get crazy. In a bad way. You start sweating, you start you cannot stay put anymore. That's how bad nicotine withdrawal is. So I'm going on with an electronic cigarette. It has nicotine, but clearly it doesn't have enough like real cigarettes. It helps, but it's still really hard. And I quit cigarette many times. I was never able to keep it on. So sometimes it was 2 months, sometimes it was 3 months. One time it was almost half a year, but then again I fell back in the habit again. The problem is the first week is a killer. The first week is a killer. Electronic cigarette or not, nicotine patches or not, the first week it's really hard. Alethea said, Club Kid is a style, and she should get jail for what she did, not on TV, but to her victims. Oh, you're talking about Redacted. Listen, I'm not sure about what's happening, because I don't like this thing feels like mental masturbation on a certain level, because there are people out there who are like, oh, there is a news on this, there is a news on this, there is a news on this. I don't really care. What I like to do is come after 5 months, 6 months, see whatever happened, evolved in the last 6 months, and then we can talk about it. So I didn't really look into it. But I watched a video and I don't remember who was it. Was it a podcast? Was it... I don't remember what it was. But it looks like one person is considering pushing charges. And they have the background for actually pushing charges. So we'll see what happens. But you have to understand, right now the whole world is freezing. So probably we're going to have an update on that situation in 9 months. Everything else is it's just gossiping, at least in my opinion. Yannick Garber says, I've heard Alaska saying on our podcast that after All Stars 2 ended, a producer told her that if she didn't have that breakdown at the end, she wouldn't have won. The show is not really a competition. I think Alaska was supposed to win since the beginning. I had that feeling. They just give her too many wins. Or maybe it could also be that they were planning on a big twist at the end. But you have to understand one thing. When considering All Stars 2, you had 2 big names in there that were actually had a shot to the crown. Let's be honest about it. And it was Alaska and Katya. The problem is that at the time of filming, because All Stars 2 was filmed immediately after season 7 aired. Okay? So season 7 finished airing in late May of that year. In July, they were already, in the beginning of July, they were already filming All Stars 2. Nobody had any idea that Katya would be so big. They knew she would be big, but they didn't know she would endure and become even bigger. By the time All Stars 2 aired, a whole year passed since they filmed. And they really started to see who Katya really was. The problem is, the whole season was already filmed and Alaska had 4 wins. That was the problem with it. So I don't know about that. It could be, but I'm also skeptical about it. I think it's clearly not a competition, but that's not important. It's just sold badly as a competition. You know what I mean? Alethea, tokenism equals false forced representation. Yes, that's the word. Sorry, my vocabulary, as usual, could use an improvement. Dixie, welcome. I was sure last week your stream started at 5 my time. It's now 4 p.m. and it's almost over. Dang, I think this social isolation is turning my mind too much. Don't worry. It's nice to see you. Kiara, I didn't fall asleep listening to you. Don't worry. I fell asleep while watching stupid stuff waiting for your live to air. Don't worry, if I didn't stuff something like 4 or 5, I lost count, energy drinks in me today, I would be falling asleep like at 9. Which was 2 hours before coming on stream. I almost thought, okay, let's just postpone it to tomorrow. And then I realized, you know, I'm here. I did all of this today. Let's just go through it. I can do it. Dixie, what I've been thinking this week is that Gigi has really offered us nothing but looks. She has completely failed in the area of letting us know anything positive about herself. Yes, but this is not just upon herself. Don't forget that. It's also, don't forget that we are watching her through the edit. So maybe she did, but the producer simply decided that it was not consistent with the kind of edit that they wanted to give her to actually shows us particular kinds of vulnerability. You know, I tend to agree with you, but let's not forget that possibility too. Alethea, the interview with Gia was with Joseph. Yes, I was talking about the other video. There you go, the title. The title. How RuPaul's Drag Race changed reality TV. Go take a look at that video. It's really, really good. You know, we need more of this. Much more of this. Alethea says, for me, it matters that alleged victims were able to show emails from AM from March this year. Alethea, we have to discuss about one thing, okay? It's difficult to talk about this thing because everything is so messed up on so many different levels. So I'm going to talk from my personal opinion, okay? I tried not to make any kind of personal opinion and based myself only on the verifiable facts. What does it mean? It means that if I see 40 people coming out with the same exact story from 10 years, then what goes on in my mind is 99% probability these people are telling the truth. Because the story is the same, is across so many people and across so many years. But if one person comes out with one email, so I don't know, maybe all of them did come out with emails, but if one person came out with one email, then we start to have a problem because emails can easily be counterfeited. And you would be surprised of the kind of shit people do for visibility out there. It's depressing, I know. Even thinking about it is depressing, but it's out there. It happens. So that's why I try to not take anything from granted the moment it comes out, to not, you know, jump the shark every time and believe everything blindly. Consider objectively everything, yes. Believe everything blindly, no. Dixie, in regards to Patreon and tipping, I've become offended by large amounts of the video being used announcing names of tipper and how much they are giving. Well, I think, I don't know. I don't know about that because maybe people want that. If I make a major video, I think it's it's a given that you mention these people who actually support you in a way, you know, because at the end of the day, it's their hard-earned money and they're giving it to you as an offer. You know, it's not even a transaction. It's really like an offer. I'm giving this to you to help you do whatever it is that you're doing in the time that you think it's best for you to do, and so on. So I think it's a given to say it out loud. But you know, part of this whole thing, it's also the fact that you're. It feels like it has become selling a kind of visibility. So you have people who donate big, who deserve a bigger name than those who donated less, and blah blah. It's fucked up. Let's be honest, it's fucked up in a way. Kiara says, I know, I went through that also, but for me it was more depression and mood swings. Now it's easier. I don't put nicotine in the electronic cigarette anymore, but I still can't get rid of the habit. Yes, I completely understand you because I use the electronic cigarette as well every time to help quitting smoking because I tried patches, but they didn't really work on me. It's too much a handling thing, and I think you know what I mean. The fact that you're actually inhaling smoke from something, that's what's really fucking me up. So I completely understand you. And it happened to me as well. When I quit smoking, every time the reason why I would pick up smoking again, it's because I didn't have any more nicotine in the electronic cigarette, and something that really disturbed me happened. You know, something that really has shaken me. And at that point, I simply lose it. From that point of view, I'm weak. You know, I consider myself lucky that at least I have the ability to put in the effort and from time to time really quit with cigarette and do something that does you less damage. Uh, but I'm not able to maintain it yet. So I'm hope I will be doing better, but I'm trying. I'm trying. So we'll see what happens. Dixie, I'm still a smoker and I have smoked for 50 years. Yeah, yeah, my mother is the same. I try to help her quit, especially, well, she had her problems, so she reduced. Okay, we reached a kind of agreement, so she reduced a lot, but she hasn't quit. Anyway, Dixie goes on and says, now I'm in Vancouver, paying $130 a carton. When Miss C came, I went and bought 6 cartons. Imagine how much that cost. I bought them on credit. Yes, yes, they're really expensive. They're really expensive. I used to smoke tobacco because it's just so much cheaper. And in a way, I don't want to say healthier because it's an insult to call it healthier. Less damaging, cheaper and less damaging. So you know, it's an expensive habit. It's a fucked up expensive habit. I'm smoking currently. I have 3 cigarettes a day. But normally I smoke, I think, about 10, 15 cigarettes. If I'm, no, not 15, 10, 12. But I used to smoke 2 packets a day 5 or 6 years ago. So I reduced greatly, but I never managed to stop. Not for a long time. It never stick there. For like, you know, that I can say, oh, I quit for a year. Never happened. A whole year, never happened. I still don't smoke as much as I used to. I wouldn't be able to talk if I was, but, you know, it's a hard habit. Yannick Garber says, I get what you mean. It just makes me sad when some queens are like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I guess I'm not what they're looking for. And I'm thinking, you're right. It's out of your hands. Yes, yes. I really feel for them. Because, you know, in a way, it doesn't really matter what they do. I think that there is a script that says, oh, they have to win. Oh, they have to lose. Oh, they have to lip sync. Oh, they have to not even have a critique, and that is what they're following, you know. But in a way, it's easier to see that you're being fooled when you're constantly on the bottom. What's really difficult it is to see when you're being fooled when you're constantly on the top. That's why, in a way, I feel empathy for Gigi the person. Gigi the character, I despise. The character on television, I despise it. But the person is it's a total different thing. Dixie says, I'm a substance abuse counselor, and it honestly is more difficult depending on the amount of years that you smoked for. It's harder to give up other drugs like heroin. People that find it easy probably weren't heavily addicted. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. If you are, addiction is one specific thing. Either you have it or you don't. And if you have it, it's the same for everybody else. There are little changes in intensity depending on the kind of substance that you're abusing, but it's basically the same thing. For example, my father, for him, it was really easy quitting cigarette, but then again, it wasn't really addicted. And you can say by the fact that the approach that he had to smoking was really different from mine, for example. He could forget about cigarettes and not smoke for a whole day. Well, I would wake up and think, where is my coffee? Where is my cigarette? There is something missing. I'm going crazy. Where is my high in the morning, you know? So I agree with you. Either you're addicted or you're not. There is no middle way in addiction. Dixie says, I've accepted that I will remain a smoker, and I'm polite and respectful with my partner. I stopped smoking in the house. It's unbelievable, but there was a period in which I actually smoked in the house. And now I find it's such an alien concept to me, the idea of, even when I go to the balcony to smoke a cigarette and some of the smokes get inside, I get completely crazy. But I think that is part of my own sensitization to quit smoking, that I developed a kind of hate for smoke in the room, or even passive smoke from other people. It really disgusts me. Alethea says, I have a problem with her getting an audience. Enjoy admitted to the behavior. Oh yeah, you're talking about Redacted. Well, how can you not have a problem with that? I mean, we keep going back to it, and we can talk about it. I don't make a taboo of anything. I just find it, in a way, unpleasurable, because it's if you think about this kind of things, for example, every day, all the time of the day, you will just get mad. It's the kind of thing that you have to think about them because you have to, but not go too much over it, because it will really set you in a depressing mood, if you actually go and follow everything that she allegedly did. Because don't forget, we can say that probability, yes, 99% she did it, but 99% is not 100. Only a court can say it's 100, or an admission. In her apology, if we can call it that, she admitted to do something. She didn't admit it to anything specific. That's, that is the disgusting part of it, because she didn't admit to anything specific. So in a way, she didn't really apologize. But then again, you would be an idiot to do things like that and then come out and admit it. So that if somebody wants to sue you, not necessarily in for sending you to prison, maybe just for civil damages, and you basically have an admission there that says that, okay, you admitted to it, so pay immediately. Nobody would do that, and clearly she's not an idiot to carry out that kind of things for so long. So but I find it it's I feel dirty, only talking about it feels dirty. Even Dominguez, love your work. If I were old enough to tip you, I would do it in a heartbeat. Don't worry. Come on, don't worry. I appreciate the company during live streams. That is something that I really appreciate. And if you come up to the videos and you think that you like it, give it a thumb up. Leave a comment. It helps the channel. It helps telling YouTube that this video is worth watching and suggesting to other people. So you don't necessarily have to tip. You can do other, if you want to help, just give a thumb up, leave a comment. That's, oh, sorry. It was my electronic cigarette. That's how much it weighs. So don't worry, it's fine. Chiara said, I never felt it was easy. I still miss it from time to time, and I cannot smoke, at least and I cannot not smoke. Oh, and you can quit smoking the electronic cigarette. Okay. Even without nicotine. But now I'm addicted to coffee to help with the withdrawal. Yeah, well, it's difficult. It's a struggle. It's a complete struggle. I am not addicted to coffee. I can go, but that is because I really don't like the coffee that my partner likes. That's the problem. That's the real problem. I really don't like it, so I don't drink it. Sometimes I have it. Sometimes I don't have a coffee for weeks. But it's really difficult for me to get addicted to coffee. I like it. If I have a good one, I like it in the morning. I really like it. Or after dinner or after lunch, and with a good cigarette afterwards, that's fantastic. But no, not to coffee, and not even to energy drinks. When I need them, I gobble them up like crazy. but it's not like, oh, I wake up, I need to have one. But with cigarettes, it's different. It's really different, because I wake up and immediately think, oh, a cigarette. And then I told myself, at least brush your teeth before. At least that, Don't just go outside and smoke the moment you wake up. It's disgusting. But I cannot help me. I cannot help myself. Alethea says, I hope that the alleged victims come together and get this sorted out, because a bigger audience means people who are starstruck. And it's really easy to manipulate people. We see with Drag Race fans, dogpiling based only on the edit. Yes, I know what you mean. We need to talk about, and we need not to forget about it, because people tend to, when you have a culture based on the fetish of rumors, on the fetish of gossiping, which it is a fetish, okay? And you have a culture in this fetish is pervasive. The problem is that when this kind of things happens, people fail to recognize that it's not just a gossip. This is different. There's something unique. It's something that needs to be treated in a certain way. The problem is that having this kind of culture, people fail to realize it, especially if it's backed up by a positive edit on the show. That's why I always, since the very beginning, I called out World of Wonder for the great decision that they took to actually put in the work and try to edit her out as much as possible. Because, I always talk not shit about them, because it's not like I'm making things up, but let's say that I give them the villain edit. But when they should be commended for something, they have to be commended. We have to be honest about it. So yes, that was a real possibility. Because I still see comments sometimes when I go to Reddit and the topic comes up. I still see comments of people saying, oh yeah, but she is so talented, she is so this and she is so that. Yes, she is. But we're not adults talking to each other. We're talking to a platform whose average age is 15 to 18. You cannot be this direct and this honest, because these people in this age will not really get the message. Will not really get the difference that you can have people doing horrible shit and also be honest. They're still in that kind of mentality that if you're not a villain, you're a hero. And if you're not a hero, then you're a villain. That's the age, So yes, we can talk between us about this and admit, yes, of course she is talented. But that means nothing, that it's not pertinent to the topic. And the topic is, don't abuse people. Don't take advantage of them. So, especially in this kind of ways, because one way or the other, you see people taking advantage of everybody else in many different ways. And the vast majority of this are all legals. And the first one that comes to my mind is when people take advantage of other people because they want a pair of ears to hear them. They don't want to have a conversation. They just want a pair of ears to hear them. And that, from my point of view, I wouldn't go as far as calling it abuse, but I would at least calling it objectification, because you don't want a person to have a discussion with, you just want a pair of ears. So in this kind of climate, you see, it's whatever. Let's move on. Let's move on. Dixie, I can't wait to see how they manage to get Gigi to take the crown. After what she's really being was a mediocre performance. I've never seen anybody bomb the puppet mini challenge, and she did. Well, I think it's bad producing. I would call it bad producing, because when you have to resort to that in order to make your contestant show vulnerability, then there is something wrong in the way you actually scripted the show, I believe. But then again, you don't have to excel in everything. But at least, if they were honest with her, if they were honest, it would be completely different. She could take her crown. I wouldn't have any problem with it. I still don't have any real problem with it. But it wouldn't have felt so unnatural, because everybody is willing to accept someone that has still a lot to grow on many different things. If they come out and are clean about it and they don't try to hide it behind a headed and so on, because at the end of the day, we're all empathic, we're all thinking about the fact that we are not perfect in the first place and we still have a lot to learn no matter the age that you have. So we like to see that on television. The problem is that they are editing her as if she doesn't have any kind of flaws. And when you do this kind of edit and she naturally bombs something, it looks much worse than it is. I lost the chat again. Oh, there it is. Chiara said they really should at least put a disclaimer at the beginning or the end of the show, telling fans that it's dramatized so that the fans might understand and not take everything as a given when they see drama. Yes, they should also be more active on social media. They are so good in making fun of the fact that they push brands in the show. They are so good in doing that and say, oh, we have this sponsored by this, and then we have that sponsored by that. And they make even fun of themselves for the fact that they are pushing brands. So they could do the same when it comes to editing, but they're not doing it. They're not doing it. So, yes, they could do better with the show, but if they don't start doing this kind of things, I think that in the long term, it's going to destroy the show, because this kind of things have a short lifespan with massive audiences. With dedicated audiences, they can still, in a way, that can still, go through. And this is just my impression. When you have such big audiences, they get tired quickly. Alicia says, every sig less is good. Reflection is better than nothing. Harm reduction is better than the AA bullshit. I completely agree with you. I completely agree, not only with this, but with many, many other things. For example, I'm not a vegetarian, but I eat meat twice a week. And for me, it's a huge step forward, because if everybody would just eat meat twice a week, we would make a world of difference when it comes to animal welfare. The problem is when you have dedicated people who actually are really at the limit, that they do not really see that the way to go when you talk about big numbers is the compromise. You go through a compromise. Don't try to be so overly virtuous and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So I completely agree. Alicia says 3.6 is how much I smoked when I stopped, but they banned menthol tobacco here. I think they banned it too in the European Union. They had a new directive that applied to everybody, but I don't know because I never smoked them. Sasha, how do you think that Redacted will be shown next episode? Will she be in the top 5 music video? Will they say something about her in the elimination episode? It's been a lot since we had a video, an actual music video, so I don't think they will even have a music video. That is something that they don't do anymore. But I don't know what they will do. What I think that they did was refilm everything and say, have the bottom 2 lip sync, and then the end having RuPaul saying, it has come to my attention, blah, 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 you are disqualified and you two are both safe. This is what I think. This is what I wanted to happen. But you never know. Maybe they've been lazy. Maybe Ru didn't want to go in drag. You never know. I think that they refilmed at least RuPaul saying all this thing, because we already know that the good practice when you have the last episode is to film both eliminations, and when you are on All Stars is to film both the crowning. So they give themselves the options already. Okay, so they already have the double filming of both the bottom queens being told that they are safe. The only thing that they have to do is to film RuPaul and say, listen, Redacted, you have been disqualified. So sashay away. And that's it. They don't even have to show her going. So we'll see, but I'm curious as well, and I've been very vocal about it in the last weeks. Alethea says, I'm in substitution therapy for opiates, but I don't want to stop that. Stopping 6 was weirdly easy. Damn. Best wishes, because that's no joke. That's absolutely no joke. Dixie says, shame on me for still being fooled by the editing. This shows how brainwashed I have become. Even with the knowledge we have shared here, I still believe the edits that I chose to believe. Well, you have to understand one thing. There is nothing wrong with believing the edit, you know? I'm here during this show because I am not able anymore to believe the edit. That is my problem. Because it has to be entertaining, you know? For 1 hour, I want to believe that everything is real. And it doesn't happen anymore. So this is also why I'm doing this show, to complain about it. Because at the end of the day, I'm just pissed off. I'm a pissed off person. Yeah, but jokes aside, I envy you. I envy you. The important thing is that at the end of the day, when the show is over, people understand the difference between real people, even on social media and television, you know, and relate to them, keeping a huge degree of separation between the image they got from the media and the actual people that are on the other side of the screen. So for me, it's no problem that you say, oh, I completely fall for the edit. I envy you. I envy you, because that is a huge chunk of entertainment that I lost from the show. I gained something else, but that part I kind of lost it. So, you know, good for you. Look at the bright side. Chiara says, somehow I had the problem more with season 11. This season is less well edited, I guess, for obvious reasons. So the editing strays me less. Well, it's very difficult with the edit for this season, because you also have to remember they re-edited this season while it was airing. So of course, mistakes have been made, because you cannot do the job that you are supposed to do in 4 or 5 months and then redo it in a matter of weeks. It's just impossible. You have to do the best you can with what they have. So in a way, you know, maybe I'm even too hard on the editors for this, but mostly the mistakes I talk about are mistakes that have been made since the very beginning. You know, it's not just the last editing that they have done after whatever happened with Redacted happened. Alethea, a real apology includes not doing it again. Oh yes, it also includes coming clear with what you do, you know, usually, at least relevant ones. Even Dominguez says, I'm late. It's late in my country. Going to bed. Love from Spain. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. You're probably to bed already. But if you see this, well, good for you. Good for you that you're going to bed. I'm still here reading comments. And I cannot stop. I have to get to the end. Then I can go to sleep. But thanks for watching. Alicia says, nicotine is very addictive. Even the most adult people can be raised with a weird idea about how... Oh, it's 2 different comments, sorry. Yes, nicotine is extremely addictive. Thankfully, it's not damaging as much as many other substance of abuse. And then Alicia goes on and says, even the most adult people can be raised with a weird idea about how an abuser looks like. Yes, but it's also a societal problem. It's also a societal problem. We stopped portraying realistic, horrible people. We have stopped doing that. Because it's considered offensive, because it's considered not proper, because it's considered immoral, for many, many reasons. But we have stopped portraying real, awful, and dangerous people. We are, and we portraying even more villains and villains and villains. This is pervasive throughout all the medias. The problem is that is entertainment knowledge, the kind of knowledge that you need to bring back into your life to actually have a purpose. You cannot take from media anymore. And unfortunately, the only way that you can get it is from anecdotal evidence or things that physically happen to you, that it's not physically, directly happen to you. So you learn by mistake. That is the problem that we have right now. We have villains and not real people, and that doesn't help. That doesn't help. With maybe a little bit explains why it happened so convincingly to so many people. Dixie says, "Is better." Oh, I lost it. I lost it. Oh, where is it? Okay, it's better to take a month or two break from smoking than not to take a break at all. You can recover quite a bit in a couple of months, so good for you. Yes, I agree. I agree. It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. That doesn't mean we should just sit our asses and do nothing anymore, but it's still a good compromise. Yannick Garber says, "I don't dislike Gigi, but when you can only be funny when you're acting stiff and awkward like a robot, and your mom made all of your dresses for you. It's just hard to buy the saintly headed." Well, yes, it's really hard to buy in the edit. But don't forget, for us, we are not the target audience anymore. That's the problem. That's the problem. We are not the target audience. As much as I dislike it, we are not the target audience anymore. Dixie says, "I will admit that I gave up drinking many, many years ago, and my smoking habit cut by 2/3. I can easily go 4 or 5 hours without a cigarette, and I'm fine. So not the smoker I used to be." Yes, I understand that. It can happen to me too. I can easy go for 4 or 5 hours without smoking, and it didn't used to be like that. It used to be like, what is it, 1 hour I didn't smoke? I'm crazy, completely crazy. Drinking never really had that problem. There were times in which I would drink a lot, but only socially and only because of the occasion. But I don't buy, for example, I don't even buy beer or wine for myself. My partner, every once in a while, he gets a bottle of wine like once a month, like once every 2 months, and that's his wine. Like in a day, he has his bottle of wine because he likes it. But I don't even like that. So I drink and I drink socially. But I'm not 18 anymore, so if I get drunk, it takes a hell of a lot of time to recover the day after. You really feel the years when you drink. Alcohol is a hard drug. It might be, the most common drug, the most common legal drug, but it's really hard on the body. Chiara said they really have to do some work on the finale to direct the crowd to Gigi now. I really think they screwed up her headed big time. Yeah, I agree with you. They screwed up big time. But a lot of people are buying into it. It's hard to tell because you can have minorities that are very, very vocal, especially on social media. That is kind of the normal on social media. That minority are the ones who are really vocal. Average people simply don't care. So it's difficult to get an idea. But if I have to judge only from what I see, a lot of people are buying into it. A lot of people are buying into it. Dixie says, "Congratulations on 2 to 3 cigarettes a day. Well done. What I found difficult is I have insomnia, so of course that doubles the smoking, but I still managed to keep it at 10. Aren't we funny? LOL." Well, yes, 2 or 3. And then I am completely unmanageable. That's that's the problem. It's because you don't have to live with me. That's why you say congratulations. Dixie said, I would be sick if I smoked 2 packs in a day. Maybe that's oh my god. Maybe that's what I should do. Make myself sick and then I'll stop. Just kidding. I won't stop cigarettes. As much as a part of me, it's my opinions. Cigarettes are as much as a part of me as my opinions. Yes, I completely understand. My grandpa never stopped smoking. You know, he passed on at 88, I think. Well, we didn't really have a relationship, so I don't remember the age, but he smoked till the last minute, and you know, the bastard went on to live a long life. So you see, it really depends, but if you can reduce it, it's much better. Lithia says, I'm a vegetarian, but I'm happy from heavy reduction in meat. Yes, that's the attitude, you know. You have many people out there pointing fingers, you know, like, oh, you know, in a way trying to guilt you into feeling bad. Well, this is my personal experience, you know, that they try to guilt you into making you feel bad for the fact that you are basically not following the choice that they follow, that you cannot be as virtuous as them. And I think it's counterproductive. You're not convincing anybody if you go with that attitude. The attitude is, if you can help, it's great. If you can help, it's great. To your own measure and in a way that is consistent, and you can carry on, that you know that you can carry on long term. So for us, it's been like this for 4 years, 5 years. Well, I wasn't really a huge meat eater. But twice a week, it's an achievement. Lately, what we did, and this we started in September. I wanted to start it, so I asked my partner if we could cut intelligent mammals. So stop eating cows and pigs and so on. And we're having some success with it. We're having like pork, I would say once every 2 months, every 3 months, which is great because I used to love pork. I really used to love it, you know. But you know, it works for me. It works for me, and the important thing is that people have to learn to be flexible with their choices. If you feel like, oh, you want to have some ham, it's been 2 months, go on, get a ham. You know, it's better than completely giving it away and start eating meat every day. It's still better. Be flexible. There is no need to be over virtuous and so on. It doesn't work like that. We are a huge population. We work with big numbers. Oh, I lost the chat. Right. Shit. Zoe A said, what storylines do you think we missed due to the redacting being... Oh my god. Sorry, I'm so sorry. It's been almost 3 hours. Pardon me. What storylines do you think we missed due to redacted being edited out? I don't think we missed any story, really. I think we got more of the stories that were already there, and this can justify some dissonance that we had with the edit, that we started feeling them like stronger, like imposing this kind of edits. I think we lost redacted storyline. That we lost completely, and everything that was attached to it. But I don't think we missed much. I'm sure she was part of the ganging up against Aiden in the storylines. I think she was part of it. And that explains also why she was not given any more wins. But other than that, I don't think we missed that much, which is a good thing. Amateur season. Sorry I joined in late. What did I miss? You missed the show. But it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's nice to see you. Dixie said, I checked Instagram numbers and my heart was broken to find Gigi at 500k and Sweet Heidi around 250K. Dixie. Over 100K is still very, very good, because at 100K is the sweet spot in which if you have the personality and the talent and the effort to really be a superstar, then 100K is the sweet spot that still can allow you to explode from a moment to another. So it doesn't really matter, you know. But that is a good indicator of how much the edit really helps. Of how much the edit really helps, because ID was still lucky. She got a good edit. She got to actually show her personality. We got to know her and so on, but she was not a hero. And also, let's not forget that the average population is American, and if we base this thing on numbers alone, we know that 50% of them don't like Heidi based simply on the color of her skin. So I'm not saying that 50% as that all the fans are parts of that 50%, but the demographic is the demographic. So they probably intersect at some point, and that's basically the result. Because I don't see any other possible explanation for that. Amateur Season said Heidi needs more followers. She will get them. She will get them. Don't worry. She will take her time, but she will get them. Amateur Season, thanks for the context. Oh, to Dixie. Yeah. Kiara said, oh my god, Heidi has such a great personality. Yes, that's a pity, But it's still good. It's still good, It's still a step forward. Alethea said, I wouldn't say that nicotine isn't as damaging as other drugs. Lung cancer through the main type of use is really bad, but it's bad after decades, not immediate. Oh yes, it's a different. Let's make it clear. The addiction is the same. So the behavioral pattern is the same. The way your brain changes is the same, and so on. In relation to the addiction, if we consider the damage to the actual body, then of course you have huge degrees of difference between the kind of substance that you abuse. From what I can tell, the most damaging in the shorter amount of time is MDMA. So Dixie says, I believe Jada is only 350K. Well, those are still, come on guys, those are still good results. Okay, let's be happy about them. It could be much worse. Alethea says, the reason why I'm healthy is because substitution exists and is paid by insurance. Substitution? I don't really know what you mean by that. Dixie, redacted will never admit anything. I agree, she would be a fool. And also seeking forgiveness, which she's not. Yes, and she's not a fool. She's not a fool. She will never do that. She will just never do that. Kiara said, good healthcare is so important. That's why I really don't get you. That's why I really don't get USA saying that they have the greatest country in the world when they don't even see after the basic needs of their people. Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I completely agree. For me, medical care is one of the first thing in a first world country. You are in a G10, G12 country. You need to at least not put a price on people's health. That is one of those basic needs. Dixie says, do you receive any money from YouTube from your live streams? I'm hoping so, because you certainly are investing an enormous amount of time in it. If I can be blunt, and I will be blunt, we make about $1 after taxes for the streams. But you have to understand one thing. We don't do it for the money. If it comes in, then it's good. That it's good. I won't lie. I won't refuse good money. I'm not that virtuous, okay? But I don't do it for the money. I do it because I like doing it. I do it because I like. I realized that I liked actually speaking with you guys, having a little bit of an exchange and maybe moderating a little bit, answering questions, and so I enjoy it. And I like to get the world out there, and we get to spend some time together. So it's good the way it is. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. We are starting to make actual good coins with the channel because of the ads on the other videos, since YouTube monetized the channel. And at the end of the month, I want to show you, for you guys that you come to the streams, I want to show you the progress that we make in the various things that we want to reinvest for the channel. So which goals we are achieving, which goals will be the next, just so that you get an idea of of where we are in terms of evolution. I understand that many people do not talk about money when it comes to the channel. I understand it. It's also a matter of privacy. When it comes to defining goals and the time that it takes to get there, I really don't care. I really don't care. If we achieve all of our goals and then we start making enough money so that I can move part-time, for example, and work only on the channel, then it's my business how much the channel makes. But we are not at that point, and we probably never get to that point. Let's be honest. This monetization will not last long. But until it lasts, it's a good thing. We will use everything to reinvest in the channel. Amateur Season says, I like Gigi, but her favoritism is too much, just like Baggett Chips. But I do not agree with all her hate. Yes, a lot of people attack her as a person. This is so ignorant. It's just so ignorant. You do not attack the person when your point is a character on television. It makes absolutely no sense. Dixie says, I used and still do sometimes a vape. They are very satisfying for getting a good puff. You can get oil without nicotine or a very low dose, but we don't know the long-term effects. Yes, I completely agree with you, but based on the evidence that we have, we can say with reasonable certainty, and by reasonable certainty I mean the same science that we use to say if a medicine is effective or not. Okay? That degree of certainty. The same one that we use to say this plane will not fall. With the same degree of certainty, we can say that the harm is reduced. We cannot say yet if it's harmful. But like everything in life, everything is potentially harmful. It depends on the dose that you take. Water can kill you if you drink 20 liters of water in 2 hours. So, and I'm telling this because that's really the point behind this kind of things. It's not if it's bad for you or not, because clearly it is bad for you. It has to see how much it's really bad for you. Okay, that's the real point. At which point it starts to become not a good substitute for smokers. People who do not smoke should not vape, but smokers like me who used to heavily smoke should vape. This is what I would say. And it's still my opinion. Dixie said, oh, I agree with Amateur Season. Okay. Chiara said, vape is still my savior. I can't give it up. I don't think I would have been able to quit without. I can tell you that I would never be able to quit without think. Alicia says, well, I lost it too. I've been a vegetarian for 11 years now, so I've gotten used to it. And Aldi here has a really cheap, awesome meat imitation that I buy. Can I tell you something? I have a thing for soy steaks. They have a bad taste, but I like the consistency. I don't know why. I like it so much. So I actually enjoy them. The problem is that they are expensive. They are surely more expensive than meat. Chiara said, I felt that RuPaul's Drag Race UK's editing was better than for a regular season. I felt the queens were more genuine there. In a way, yes. It felt like like one of the older seasons. For some reason, I don't know why. Sorry, I need to drink something because I have really dry mouth. Amateur Season said, I will try and watch the rest of the stream when it's done. If you find it interesting, yes, don't do it out of some kind of sense of how is it called? A sense of obligation. There is no obligation. If you enjoy it, you do it. If you don't, it doesn't really matter. Alicia says, get some veggie nuggets for cheap. And then the veggie fishy sticks are amaze balls. You know what I like about vegetarian food is when they try to make something with its own taste. What I don't like, for example, I don't like cow meat. I never liked it. Never ever since I was a kid. So when I find a vegetarian or vegan substitute food that try to replicate the taste of meat, they are so good in doing it that I get disgusted. I tried one, I think it was called Satan, and it felt like the real thing, which is a blessing for people who are trying to transition. But for me, which I always despised cow meat, I almost threw up. Dixie says, I drink coffee, but it's so weak, it's like coffee water. I don't think I'm addicted. I know what you mean. I like to sip. I prefer tea. When it comes to sipping, I prefer tea. But once in a while, I like an American coffee. You know, I'm more used to an espresso because we have an espresso machine. But if I have to have a long beverage, let's call it like this, I prefer tea to coffee. I prefer my coffee strong. Sherayaz Cosino. I'm sorry, I'm probably reading it so wrong. I read on the season 12 Wikipedia page that they are premiering the original edit, including redacted in foreign countries. Can this be confirmed? I have no way to confirm this. I have to actually look into this. The problem is that I've been in a way, I've been avoiding to actually look out too much on the internet because it's full of spoilers, and you know, it's not every place on the internet is as respectful as the Reddit for RuPaul's Drag Race. So I didn't look out too much into this thing. But when the season is over, of course, I will take a look into it. And if I find anything, we will surely discuss it because it's interesting. Kara said, coffee is my new addiction. I drink the very strong kind. You know what's the problem with coffee? It also stains the teeth. It's also stained the teeth. Well, tea is the same, so what the hell am I saying? Alvin the Ray says, I'm so over Gigi and Jackie. Me too. I'm so over their headed. It's so much. It's so much. Alethea says, do you know you lack protein? I will explain via Twitter. Okay. Okay. Dixie, is there a way to have your proteins tested? A lot of food has some protein in it. Grain contains starch and protein. Gluten, seitan. Oh, okay. I'm not even getting into this conversation because I will lose points. I'm already losing the chat. Diogo Moreo says, good morning, Brazil. Good morning, Brazil. Dixie says, I think I have to look at myself and find out why I am so bothered with the picture they're giving us of Gigi. I'm such an enormous fan of the underdog that I've fallen for it hook, line, and sinker. I well, I cannot talk for you personally. I can tell you what's bothering me. What's bothering me is that I do not see a person, and I have confirmation of the fact that I'm not seeing a person. And the point of the show is to convince me that what I'm seeing is real, that these are real people. And when you think about it, of course, they're real people. Of course, they're really saying the things that they're saying, but the amount of editing and manipulation behind it, makes them look like characters. And they are selling them to me as people, not as characters. That's what's bothering me. And of course, there is also other things that you might project on it. The fact that she's been given, a clear push. Sometimes it resonates with the fact that maybe in your personal life you've seen people going over you, maybe at work or maybe at school or maybe with your friends, people simply being pushed when they didn't really deserve it. There is this kind of dynamics that go on, and Alicia said, I lost the connection. I could give you some pointers. And I love tofu, but it's a bit of an acquired taste. I agree. Alicia continues and says, I like meat, so I like them tasting real. Oh, you're talking about the vegetarian food. By the way, seitan is gluten, wheat protein. That then gets flavored differently depending on what you want to cook. Yes. I actually, now that I remember, I watched a channel in which this woman was she did some debunking of fake channels like Tasty and so on, and she actually extracted gluten. Yes, and I can tell you that. And I can confirm that because I stole the way she extracts gluten. Because most of the time, especially recently, it's been difficult for me to find very strong flours with a lot of gluten inside that can really rise for a long time. Okay. So what I usually do, and I learned it from this woman who was teaching how to make the seitan actually, you can extract the gluten once you make a dough and then reincorporate it with the rest of another dough to have a higher percentage of gluten. Yes, seitan, it's a flavored gluten, and then you can add whatever you want. Well, whatever it was, the mixture that they put inside, it really tasted like cow. It was ugh. Diogo Moreu said something. Amateur season. What if Gigi was eliminated? Just what if? I don't know. My God, could you believe that? I think that at some point, the producers will get desperate enough to pull something like that. I believe it's possible, but probable for this season. No way. I cannot even put myself in it, But we've seen it happening with All Stars already. You remember Shangela? My God. Dixie says menthol is banned in Vancouver. All cigarettes now come in black packaging. There are no king size, regular, or extra long, just different strength. Honestly, they look like black market. They have to look as bad as possible. The most unappealing they are, the better, and it should be by law. Chiara said, that would be a real twister if it happens. I think people would either be super mad or super relieved. It would be a super polarizing move if they sent Gigi home. Yes, it would be. But do they really need it? Because usually reality TV starts pulling this kind of stunts when they have nothing to lose anymore. So I don't think it's likely. But yes. But again, how much time it would take? Like, people would talk about it for 2 weeks and then kind of forget about it. That's Alicia says, yes, the channel is called How to Cook That. Yes, that's how it's called. I didn't follow it, but my partner follows it. That's why I get suggestions for it. And she is really good. She is really good. What I like about this woman is that she actually takes the time. You know, she comes alike and say, well, creativity takes time. So at times I will make a video a month. At times I will make a video every 3 months. It doesn't really matter. When I have creativity in what I do, which is cooking, she will come with a creative recipe, which is honest. You know, it's hard truth, but it's truth. It's honest. I really appreciate that. And the rest of the content that she has when she debunks other stuff, it's really good. It's really good. And she has a personality, which is really important. Amateur Season said, we stand Crystal having no negative confessionals. Yeah, I don't think that the editing has even anything to do with that. I don't think Crystal would be, but then again, when you look at the editing, you basically have only Brita and Aiden having real negative confessionals. Everything else is framed as negative, is cut as negative, is placed in a way that looks controversial and so on. But real negative confessionals, that is something that we don't see anymore because queens do not dare to do it. Either they get triggered for some reason or they just don't do it. But even if they did, I mean, have you seen Crystal? Bless her heart. Bless her heart. She is not the type of girl. Diogo Moreo says, what if Guido versus Jackie was a double shantay? Is what America wants to know. What if Guido versus Jackie was a double shantay? What if Jada versus Heidi was a double shantay? That is the only question that I have. That is the only double shantay that I would have given. But that is just my personal opinion. If it was up to me, I would have sent Jackie home against Heidi and save both Heidi and Jada this episode. Also because everybody did bad. In this episode, if it was up to me, I would have had 5 people lip syncing. Crystal winning and 5 people lip syncing. And if they didn't do their job, then 5 people going home. Crown to Crystal, show is over. Thanks for watching. You know, this is what I thought for this episode. Dixie says, honestly, if Gigi doesn't win, I will cry in relief. That's how much I've allowed myself to become invested. I so want to see Jada win, and if not Jada, then Crystal. Well, what I tell just to make fun of it is it's a win-win situation. It's a win-win situation. No matter who you like and do you want to win. Because if Jada's win, I'm happy because that's the one that I want to win. But then, if you really don't like Gigi, then she will come for All Stars. If you really don't like her. Or her edit. God forbid that they continue with the same edit even on All Stars. But if Gigi wins, then, well, that's not Jada that wins, but then I get to see Jada again on All Stars. So it's I try to look as the glass half full. It's a win-win at this point. Amateur season, I try to forget Shangela's robbery. Yes. But you know, she won in life. She lost the race, but she won in life. She one of the best queens out there. She has one of the best careers, and she works her ass off in a way that almost nobody else does. Dixie says, I love that they allowed Crystal the grace of being a sweetie. Actually, Heidi had a very little negative confessionals. If she said something shady, it was humorous. It was framed as negative, you know. That's the whole point of the confessional chart. That's what I want to point out. It's the framing that really makes the difference. Amateur Season says it's so hard to hear the stream because my chickens. Oh, because your chickens are being so loud outside. That's nice. I would love to have chickens. You know, not to eat, maybe to get the eggs. But you know, to just have them. But you know, we live in an apartment, so No chickens for us. Kiara said, I really would love Crystal winning, even if it's unlikely. But Jada and Jakey would be fine with me too. It's sad that the Had It sucks, because they really had a super good cast this season. Yes, I think the cast was underused. I think it was really underused. I would have liked to see more, and then I forgot the name. Great. Well, it's 2 in the morning. The French one, Forget Me. I cannot really get the name. I would have liked to see more of her, but unfortunately, as a look queen, you can see she didn't fit with Gigi's edit. What if she came out with better looks? How much people would have bought into this? Gigi, you are so fashion forward, so this and so much, when you have queens like Jada and what was her name? Dear God. Well, when we have both of them in there, it starts to become really difficult. Especially because in the beginning of the season, they both came out saying we are look queens, we are fashion queens. So, Dixie says to Amateur Season, I'm so hoping that we're going to see some Justin for Shea Coulee. See, already I'm invested myself in the season that hasn't started yet. I'm hoping that as well, you know. Shea got fucked over by the format. The format really destroyed her. It's nothing against oh my god, I'm asleep. I'm completely asleep. I cannot recall names anymore. Sasha Velour. It's nothing against Sasha. Yeah, but Shay is really an underrated performer. Really, really underrated. Underrated. A lot of people say yes, but it's because she lost the lip. No, it's not about that. She's just underrated. And you know, I think that she's secretly a bitch, but not that kind of bitch that will cut you up. That kind of bitch that will just put you in your place if you step out of your place. And she's really talented, and talented on a budget, which is even more impressive than most. And she has a personality. I like her. I hope that too. I forgot to mention that there is a cast out for All Stars. We absolutely didn't talk about it, but yeah, you know, for me, it's either her or Jujubee. That's who I'm rooting for. Diogo Moreo said, "Show is over. Thanks for watching, and Stan Landon cider." Oh God. Dixie says, I really want to be clear that you've done an amazing job of opening my eyes to dishonest editing. I still get fooled, but then I catch myself. I'm now aware, and that is thanks to you. Thank you. That's really nice. That's really nice. Kiara said, Nikki Doll. Yes, Nikki Doll. My God, I look like an amateur. Nikki Doll. That's a really bad look when you start forgetting names of queens. Me too. I think she went too soon. I liked her, and it was unfair to them saying she didn't have a personality. Yes, I'm glad that you catch that, that you caught that. I'm glad that you caught them, because this was complete bullshit. You know, it was a way to throw her off her game, something that she could never achieve. Saying something, oh, you don't have a person. How can you not have a personality? If you don't see a personality, it's because you're not looking. We are people, you know. Dixie says, I don't think you're too hard on the editors. You simply want the queens to be seen in an honest way. Find you to be very fair. Thank you. I believe the same. You know, they are the ones who really make the show. They are the ones who really make the show. You couldn't have the show without the queens. And to me, it looks like they're squeezing them for everything they have and even more. And give only visibility in return. Visibility is not enough. You cannot buy food with visibility. Diogo Moreo said, nobody noticed that in 2 seasons that she was in, the rule was changed. Nobody noticed that in the 2 seasons that she was in, the rules were changed. I think I lost a piece. I think I lost a piece, yes. Kiara says, Dragula is really a good show and so refreshing. I'd love there to be a drag king competition too. Just mix them up. I don't care. Just mix them up. The more mixed they are, the more fucked up it gets, the more entertaining it is. You know? How do you even compare so many different kind of performances, so many different bodies, so many different ways? That is entertaining to me. That is entertaining. The challenge is entertaining. Amateur Season says, I love everyone on Regulars minus Monique Shame. No tea, no shade. Well, she didn't really try to be liked too. We should also say that. Okay, guys, it's 2:15 in the morning. We went on for 3 hours. It was great. As usual, I lost track of the time. Who cares? We have our weekly time. We had fun. We had talked a lot. It was great. If you have any questions, if there are anything that you would like to ask and so on, leave a comment, write on Twitter, write in the community section of the channel, write wherever you are. We have a lot of time in our hands, and let's just take advantage of it. And oh, I promised you a video next week, but I am late. Every time I give you every time I give you a date, not a date. I'm sure that's another word. Every time I say next week a video will come out, I'll never hold to that. I have to stop saying that. I really have to stop saying that. I'll do my best to get the video out on Thursday, but I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm just in a too much of a fucked up situation this week. It was just too much. I couldn't concentrate. But the script is finished. Half of the material is there. So I'm just missing half of the material and editing. So hopefully it will be out on Thursday. But let's be realistic and just let's say the week after. Because at this point, every time I say a day, I can never go through with it. So I'm so sorry about it. Good night, everyone. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.